Hey guys, what is going on? And welcome to RFA's YouTube channel. We are doing something extremely special for today. We are actually going to be live streaming for the next 6 to 12 hours. What that means is that you are going to get nonstop marketing advice. You are going to get nonstop motivation. You are going to get the things that you need in your business to set 2025 up to be a record year for you. So what I need y'all to do is kick back, relax, put on your jammies, whatever it is, get some food, sit on the couch and watch us for the next 12 hours. All right. So the way that this is going to work is we are going to be sharing with you some of our biggest and best podcast interviews over the past year. I want y'all to check it out because here's the thing. These are not normal interviews, y'all. Okay. These are actually interviews that we did on podcasts that turned into masterclass trainings. We literally give everything in these trainings that can allow you to go out and make a lot of money this coming year, all right? Along with that, we're going to actually be doing exclusive trainings, exclusive mindset, exclusive advice. We're gonna be giving y'all everything that RFA got for the next 12 hours, y'all. So stay tuned, pay attention. There's gonna be a lot of gems dropped. And here's the thing, if you like what we're dropping, if you like these things, go ahead and subscribe to our channel, like this video, share this with a fellow entrepreneur out there who needs some help and needs some guidance. And if you were really impressed and really like the things that we're talking about, go ahead and click the link below. Head to our website, book a call with us, check out some of our courses. These things will set you up for success, y'all, all right? What you're gonna be witnessing over the next 12 hours are things that have literally taken our students from $900 a month to $50K a month. From $41,000 a month to $2.4 million a year, from $0 to $10,000 a month. We have a lot of testimonials and a lot of students are crushing it right now with these things that we're going to be sharing with you over the next 12 hours. You will not find this anywhere else. So stay tuned, y'all.
Kept on going because, you know, success leaves clues. And once you find something that works, you know, like our mentor says, don't get bored with it, get paid with it. So we just kept going.
It's really gratifying helping others become successful and helping them scale their businesses. So, you know, that's mainly what we focus on now. We always like to say, you know, we change lives for a living. Like, that's our job. We change lives for a living. So it's our duty to serve others at the highest level and get them to the level that we're at.
You know, I want everybody listening, like, honestly, like, because there might be some people that are killing it right now. There might be some people that are just getting started. Yeah. Right. And I want them to know, like, yo, you can really do this. And it's actually not as hard as you might think. Yeah. Right.
Oh, I don't want to bother my list that much. I don't want to send off a text blast once a week because I feel like I'm annoying.
Yeah.
No,
that's a big one.
Do not do that. Like, you are doing yourself a disservice and you're doing your customer a disservice by not marketing to them more because your products are making their lives exponentially better.
And we have our own strategies that we've kind of developed over the years that honestly, like, nobody's doing this. Like,
help you get rich from anywhere.
Like, facts, bro. Yeah. Like, and I'm telling you, like, I've looked around for the things that we're teaching and no one's doing them.
Wow.
Yeah.
So I truly believe that anyone who's interested in building their list and growing their business and having longevity in their business will be blown away by this experience.
All right, so welcome to another awesome episode of Inside the Vault with Ash Cash, the greatest money mindset show on the planet. Listen, according to a survey by Statista, there were 4.57 billion active internet users at the end of 2019, representing 59% of the total population on Earth. Furthermore, studies have found that digital marketing tactics such as SEO and content marketing can be up to 8 times more cost-effective than traditional methods like print advertising and direct mailing. This means that businesses can reach more people for less money, ultimately helping them increase their customer base and boost sales online or just sales in general. Our next guest teaches online entrepreneurs how to use digital marketing to make more sales, discover new ways to monetize and add next level automation to their business so they can work smarter, not harder. I got Steven and Steven in the building. What's up, fellas? How y'all doing, man?
What's going on, bro? What's going on?
My guys, Rich from Anywhere.
Yes.
In the building. You know, I'm excited about this interview because there's a lot of people who have great products and services, you know, but because they don't understand what you guys provide, they don't understand how to market, they don't understand how to get eyes on their products and services, they are suffering. They're trying to figure out, you know, their next move, how to get to the next level. And so you guys have created something that's so needed in our community, in the entrepreneurship community. But before we go there, for those who don't know, you know, if you guys could introduce yourselves.
Yeah, absolutely, man. So my name's Steven Blackburn. I know I'm the co-founder of Rich from Anywhere, and you know, we just two guys that were music artists, and that's kind of how we even got into marketing. Was actually we were music artists, and we found that we had fans, and we were kind of creating a buzz, and things were going pretty good, but we were making like no money, right? We were like the typical starving artist, not making any money at all, and we got families and we got things to pay for, so that couldn't, you know, happen. So we basically, what we did was we actually started an e-commerce business. And we actually just started the e-commerce business just to fund our music career. So we can fund like photo shoots and video shoots and stuff like that. And then we ended up getting into e-commerce and like figured out that we were actually pretty good at it. Ended up doing about $250,000 in sales in about 7 months in our first e-com store. And we were like, wait a minute, bro. Like,
that's crazy.
We might be actually good at this.
Yeah.
So we kind of kept on going, because, you know, success leaves clues. And once you find something that works, you know, like our mentor says, don't get bored with it, get paid with it. So we just kept going. Yeah. And here we are, like 6, 7, I don't even know, 8 years later, man. And now we're helping like thousands of businesses do the same thing.
Wow.
So yeah, man.
Wow. And so after the success, y'all put the mic down. Y'all say, you know what?
Well, you know what? It's crazy because for all my artists out there that are so-called retired, you don't ever want to say you retired. You know what I'm saying? We still got the itch, but you know, it's really gratifying helping others become successful and helping them scale their businesses. So, you know, that's mainly what we focus on now. We always like to say, you know, we change lives for a living. Like, that's our job. We change lives for a living. So it's our duty to serve others at the highest level and get them to the level that we're at. So.
No, I love that. And then, you know, you said success leaves clues, right? And you know, you guys have had the opportunity to work with businesses that are making millions, you know, of dollars in sales. What would you say is the common denominator for businesses doing that type of scale?
So what I would say, like, because yes, we do work with a lot of companies that are generating over $1 million a year. The one common denominator between all of those businesses is that they're all growing their lists. Okay, they're all building their lists with emails and phone numbers. It's crazy the amount of people that we see on social media on a daily basis that have millions and millions of followers, right? Like, but they're not monetizing their list, right? And the reason why is because they don't have a list, right? They're relying on Instagram and TikTok for all those followers. But what happens if those companies shut you down? What happens if your Instagram account gets hacked? What happens if you no longer can access your TikTok account? Then all of those fans that you were relying on contacting via the DM, you no longer have contact with them anymore, and now you're stuck. So the common denominator is this, right? You have to focus on growing your list outside of those platforms so that you can market to them with promotions anytime you go live, anytime you have a sale, anytime that you, regardless of anything that you're doing, you want to be able to have the ability and the control to promote to them at will and not be at the will of Instagram or Facebook or TikTok or any of those platforms.
100%. Yeah. Collecting data is like the thing that every business should be focusing on, period. Like, and this stat came out a couple years ago, like data is now the most valuable resource in the world. It passed up oil. Right. So that's why you see all these, you know, emerging companies and all these data companies are just billions and trillions of dollars, right? That's the most powerful thing that you can do. So as a business owner, you've got to start collecting your data, because like he said, if you taking all this information or you're spending all this time and energy building up your Facebook page, and then Facebook just slams the gavel on you one day and just or your Facebook account gets hacked. Like, how many people out there right now have gotten their Instagram hacked or their TikTok shut down? Like, if you don't have tangible lists, like, how are you going to reach your customers? Your business is not like you're pretty much like you're just like a sitting duck.
Yep.
You know what I mean? So you got to focus on all the successful companies we work with. They focus on growing their list and then promoting to that list consistently and monetizing that list.
So this is why we're so passionate about this topic. This actually happened to us a few years back. We were riding high. We had our first 6-figure year, and at that time, we felt we were riding high, making 6 figures. Had our first 6-figure year. We were relying.
Oh wait, let's not downplay 6 figures. A 6-figure year is still
It's
still,
good.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
It's good, but compared to where we're at now,
I'm about to say, I know y'all making M's now, but still, like, you know what I'm saying? 6 figures is still.
yeah,
you know
for sure, for sure. So like, we had been doing really well, but one thing that we realized is that we were really reliant on these social media platforms, Facebook in particular. We ended up getting our Facebook account shut down, like our whole business manager, our whole business was shut down. So we no longer had access to all of that data that's so valuable.
Wow.
But the thing is, because we were building our email list and our phone number list, what we were able to do is we were able to create a new account. We were able to take our existing data, plug it back into Facebook on that new account, and now all of a sudden, you know, AI is a big topic right now. The algorithm was able to read all of that information and lead us right back to where we left off, running ads again effectively at the drop of a
Quick
dime.
little gem, like for everybody who has a list or is building a list, what y'all can do, like what we did in that instance was you can actually take that list, the CSV file, and you can upload that CSV file into Facebook, and you can create what's called a custom audience.
Yeah.
Right? And now those custom audience, those are people who rock with your products, who like what you do. Now what you can do is you can actually take that custom audience and you can tell Facebook, hey, go out and find millions of other people who are just like these people, but different people.
Yeah.
And that's called a lookalike audience. And we've been scaling with lookalike audiences for years. So if y'all don't take anything from this interview, take that and
That's
go
the
run
cheat
with it
code.
right there.
Lookalike audiences are the cheat code.
And you know, one of the things that makes so much sense is like, even if I take it back to like MySpace days, right? When people were popping on MySpace, then, you know, MySpace died. Some of the people that were popping then are nowhere to be found. Then they moved to Twitter.
There you go.
And they started popping, and a new set of people started popping on Twitter. And then when Twitter, you know, wasn't the hot spot to go anymore, when the club moved to Instagram, yo, some of the people that were like quote unquote influencers on Twitter, nowhere to be found. And then now we have this, you know, Instagram is still rocking, if you will, and Facebook. But you know, like you said, if that dies, and then you don't have a presence, you're not omnipresent, then now you get taken over by TikTok or taken over by whatever the case may be, and then now literally your business is determined, based on, based on what Instagram is focused on, right? Because like for me, I have close to a quarter, I have 248,000, let's say, followers on Instagram. But I already know Instagram not showing my stuff to all of those people, right? They showing them to like 2,000 people.
Yep.
And then let me, I'll figure out the rest. You know what I'm saying? And so I think that there's a thing to be said about building the list. But I kind of feel like the majority of the people who are starting businesses don't even know how to build a following on Instagram or how to build a following on any platform. And so why is it important that any business, why do they need an online presence?
Oh man. I mean, at the end of the day, like if you have a business and you have products that you want to promote, you got to go where people are.
Yeah.
And in 2023 and moving forward, everyone and their mom and their cousin, and everybody is online, right?
Facts, yeah.
More importantly, they're on their phone.
Yeah.
Right. So like, I don't know where you guys live, but in Florida, like people are connected to their phone. Like it's like a part of their hand at this point.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like they never leave.
Yeah.
So if we know that, then why wouldn't we as business owners be doing everything in our capability to be getting our products and services on people's phones constantly, right?
Yeah.
So, I mean, the reason why you should be online is like everyone's there.
Everyone is there. And you know what's crazy is a lot of times just being online isn't enough. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like just relying on being on Instagram or being on Facebook or being on TikTok, that's not enough, right? Sometimes you gotta kind of put things into hyperdrive, right? And that's where like ads come into play, you know. And here's the thing, like, just because you have a large following does not mean that you're making money.
Facts.
You know what I'm saying? It doesn't mean that you are successful. We had an Instagram account that had about 500 followers, but yet we were making 6 figures a year. The reason why is because we know these ad strategies that allow people to come into our world. We indoctrinate them, and then we sell them our services because everyone needs advertising.
But more importantly than that, like, we're not so much focused on building followers. We're focused on building community, right? And that's another common denominator of every successful businesses that we've worked with is that they are building a community, of a tribe of people that just rock with them, right? And, you know, I want everybody listening, like, honestly, like, because there might be some people that are killing it right now. There might be some people that are just getting started, right? And I want them to know, like, yo, you can really do this, and it's actually not as hard as you might think, right? Have you ever heard of like the 1,000 true fan rule?
No.
You never heard this before? Dude, this right here, like, completely blew me away when I first heard it, right? It changed my perspective about business in general, right? And the reason why is, well, I'll get into why in a second, but the 1,000 true fan rule, it basically goes like this. If you can get 1,000 true fans to rock with you, right? That means, like, these are 1,000 true fans. Like, these are people who just love your stuff. They buy everything that you put out, and they're just die hard. You can get 1,000 people to spend $100 with you over the course of a year. You just made $100,000 a year. Right? So, and I want everybody to marinate on that for a second, because that's like you said earlier, like, 6 figures is nothing to sneeze at, bro. Like, and that's a lot of people's, like, goals when they first get in. Like, everybody's got this dream of, like, I want to make 6 figures. But then when they get out here and they start stepping into it, and they're like, well, wait, like, how the heck am I going to actually do that though? You know what I'm saying? Like, how am I going to make us like $100,000? And it feels like a mystery. And when things feel like a mystery, they feel far out of reach. And when things feel out of reach, you don't want to do the things that are necessary to run that business. And when you don't do the things, you don't get the result. And when you don't get the result, it's a downward spiral. Right? So the reason why I love this so much is because what this does is it turns mystery into math. Right? So being successful is not a mystery. It's just a math problem. Right? If you can get 1,000 true fans to rock with you, by the way, let me back up for a second. Going on the first thing that you said. 1,000 people, that's not really a lot of people. Right? You just said earlier, there's how many? 4 billion people? Over 4 billion people online, active users, right? Like, tell me right now, like, you guys think that y'all can find like 1,000 people to rock with you?
Billion?
I mean,
it's
come
so
on,
easy.
like, seriously, 1,000 people, it's not really that many people, right? And $100 a year, that's really not a lot of money either, right? If you
that's like charging them $10 a month.
Facts.
It's actually $8.33 a month, right? Like, I bought Starbucks coffee that's more expensive than that. You know what I mean? So, like, what I really want everybody to understand is that when you break that formula down, 1,000 people, it's not really a lot of people. $100 a year, that's not really a lot of money. But when you put those two things together, it creates an extraordinary result, right? So everybody can create this extraordinary result by just doing ordinary things consistently.
No, that's a bar. I love that. And what would y'all say is the favorite social media platform, right? Like, what's your favorite?
So that's a really good question, man, because every platform has like its certain benefits, you know. For us, Facebook has been like our wheelhouse. And the reason why isn't necessarily the organic piece of Facebook where you're just simply posting, it's the ads. And, you know, going back to the 1,000 true fans rule that we just talked about, I know for some of y'all that 1,000 people might seem like a lot, but when you have a certain strategy that you can implement, it becomes a lot easier. So if we got time, like, can we break down like how to actually get to those 1,000 true fans? Can we break it down?
Because that was actually one of my questions, because, you know, a lot of my insiders who watch the show are, you know, might work a 9 to 5, you know, high earners, and they said they might be new, right, to this online game. So for someone like you and I, you know, I could, you know, 1,000 subscribers, that's nothing. Like, easy work, right? But somebody who may be watching might be like, oh, they keep saying stuff is easy, but they've been doing it, right? And so I want to definitely give them some tangibles, ways that they can actually do it.
Yes, this is so this is kind of like a master class for those of you all that want to learn how to start running ads. So pay attention to this, all right? So first thing you have to understand, because we're going to show you like how to run Facebook ads, okay? So first thing you have to understand is what a Facebook pixel is, okay? A Facebook pixel tracks the actions that people perform on your website. So for instance, let's say you got 1,000 people that come to your website. If you do not have the Facebook pixel on your website, then the only thing that's going to happen is these 1,000 people are going to come to your website and leave, but you're not going to be able to track any of that data, all right? And that data is extremely important. However, if you have the pixel installed on your website, what's going to happen is the Facebook pixel is going to track all those actions. So if 1,000 people add a product to cart, the pixel is going to track those 1,000 actions. That data is extremely valuable because I know y'all listening can relate. You ever been to a website before and you go to the website, you're kind of shopping around, the baby starts crying or the kids get in a fight or something, you end up leaving the website, and then all of a sudden you forget that you were even shopping on that website. Then you go back online the next day and you see their ads popping up everywhere. Kind of like it's just following you, right? You see that? Yeah. What these companies are doing is they're retargeting you.
And I thought that was the power of my mind. I thought it was manifesting it.
So they're retargeting you. Yeah. The biggest companies in the world are doing that, and the reason why is because they have your information. They've tracked your data via the Facebook pixel. Okay? So essentially, all of you all out there that have a website, you can do the same thing. You can start retargeting individuals as well through something we call a funnel. Okay? So if you know what a funnel looks like, a funnel is like a V-shaped thing, right? It's a V-shaped thing. And any marketer in the world knows this funnel strategy, all right? So inside of this funnel, notice how it starts out like really, really wide, and then it gets more and more narrow as it comes down, right? So every time that we're marketing initially, and this goes for anyone out there, anytime you're marketing initially, you want to get people into the top of the funnel, which is it's the widest part of the funnel. Okay. Now, in order to do that, you have to run an ad using interest-based targeting. Okay. You use interest-based targeting, and your whole goal at the top of the funnel is to drive as much traffic in as possible. It doesn't really matter who it is. The whole goal is to just drive an influx of traffic in to your pixeled website. Okay. To your pixeled website. Or let me let you in on another, Jim. You said you had 248,000 followers on IG. Yeah. I don't know if you've heard of a Facebook pixel or not, but you're sitting on gold that you didn't even know that you had. You know, because the pixel, because the pixel is attached to your Instagram account as well.
Natively, like right when you opened up your Instagram account, the pixel was already there.
It's already there.
Yeah.
So what's happening? Excuse me. So what's happening is anyone that interacts with your Instagram, right? DM. All right, whether they DM you, whether they comment, whether they follow you, whatever it is, the pixel is tracking that. So for those of y'all out here listening, all of y'all that have an Instagram account have access to the pixel and all that data on the pixel.
Wow.
Right now.
Yes.
Right now. And it's literally like gold that there's so many of our clients and students come to us that have this gold, like, and it's just collecting dust. It's just sitting there.
And so I already have a pixel.
Yep.
For everybody who's ever interacted with me.
Yep.
On my Instagram already.
Yep.
And so if I do a lookalike off of that, it's going to find people just like the people who've interacted with
me. Here's where I want you to understand why this is so powerful. So y'all can look this up too if you want to. Facebook has 52,000 data points on every single profile.
52,000.
52,000. So think about that for a second. Facebook, like, and this is like no lie, like Facebook knows more about you than you know about you. Like if you ask me, like I don't even know 52 things about myself.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like Facebook knows 52,000 data points on every single person, right?
Wow.
So when we say you can go out and you can create a custom audience and then create a lookalike audience, like when it's extremely accurate. It's actually kind of terrifying how accurate it is, right? Like from a consumer standpoint, it's terrifying, but from a business standpoint, it's like absolute gold.
It's crazy.
Wow.
It's crazy.
Wow.
So going back to the funnel, right? You're at the top of the funnel. You're driving as much traffic in as possible. just to collect their data at the top of the funnel, okay? That's really the whole objective at the top of the funnel, to turn strangers into someone who's somewhat interested in your brand. Whole goal at the top of the funnel. Once they've interacted with your brand, then because they're pixeled, you can bring them to the middle of the funnel. The middle of the funnel is where you retarget. So all you're doing at the middle of the funnel is running ads towards the people who already express interest in your brand, right? Retargeting is essentially where your conversions are going to happen. That's where people are going to start to buy from you, because when you're retargeting, you're turning a casual watcher of your brand into an actual buyer, right? You're turning them into a buyer, someone who would consider buying from you, because here's a stat for you. It takes at least 7 touch points for someone to actually buy from you. 7 touch points, meaning that if I see your ad one time, okay, cool. If I see it 2 times, okay, whatever. 3 times, whatever. But the more that I continue to see your ad, the more I become indoctrinated with it. And eventually I'm going to click on that link. Then after I click on that link, if I see that ad again, then eventually, if it's something I really want, I'm going to purchase, right?
And you can stop right there, because like the majority of businesses stop there, right? Like they stop at the top of the funnel. How many of y'all listening right now will like promote and market to somebody, and if they don't buy the first time, you're like,
who's next?
I guess it ain't for them.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like that's not how it works. Like psychologically, people need more like touch points, right? And that's the reason why. Have you guys ever noticed like when you're listening to the radio, like you hear the same commercial over and over, or when you watch TV, you see the same commercial over and over and over. Like they're not doing that to just spend money for no reason. They know that on average it takes 7 to maybe even up to 11 touch points for people to make that buying decision. And there's been people that have gotten on the phone with us after being in our funnel for a certain amount of time, where they're like almost like starstruck. They're like they're almost like we're like superstars, right? And then people even tell me too, like, oh my, I saw your ad so many times. Like they'll start to relate it to like a religious or a spiritual experience, right? They're like, it's God telling me I needed to talk to you. Like,
I thought I was manifesting those. I was like, I was just thinking about.
Man. And they'll like
Foreman Grill.
Right. And like I want to encourage all y'all out there that are business owners, like run that play, because that can turn someone who's a casual listener or a casual just watcher of your brand into someone who can become a raving fan. Like we've literally gotten on Zoom calls and people scream like, oh my God, I can't believe it's you. Like literally because of the power of retargeting, right? So once you learn that strategy and you really get it down, you can make a whole lot of money.
And I think that one of the, and maybe you guys can help with this, like how do you change the mindset though of the person who is starting out the business to just jump into ads, or when is the right time to jump into ads? Because I feel like I'm a mentor in this space as well, and so people, in some of my mentorships, people are, a lot of the small business owners are like hesitant to spend money on ads. Like a lot of it, for a lot of them, it's not even in their thought process because somehow they've been convinced that organic is the way. Like, I'm going to build this organically, when ads is like a cheat code. So like, how do you get somebody in the mindset to let them know that investing in ads, like that's really the cheat code for any business that you have?
Well, I really think it comes down to understanding that, like, even if you're new, first of all, if you're new and you haven't ever ran ads before, I will definitely say, like, don't try to just do it by yourself. Like, get coached. You know what I mean? Like, that's really why we have mentorship programs, is to pass on information that we've spent millions of dollars testing. So you don't have to spend all that money testing it. We already have, right? But even it's not for us. Like, go to other coaches. It doesn't matter. Get coached, because one part of the story that I left out on our first story, or our first e-commerce store, was we first started our e-commerce store and we started running ads by ourselves, just watching YouTube videos. And we spent 5 racks in Facebook ads and didn't make 1 sale. Not even one. Like, it was a nightmare, right? And we didn't have money at the time, so it was kind of a big deal. So we finally hit that wall, and we're like, all right, well, I'm not doing that again. Like, clearly that didn't work. So we finally chucked it up and just said, all right, I'm gonna get a mentor. So we invested into a mentor, and dude, I'll never forget this ever in my life, because we paid this mentor to teach us the right way to do it. And we got the strategy. We went home that night and like ran the play that night, right? And we went to sleep, And literally by the time I woke up in the morning, I had sales on my phone by the time I woke up in the morning.
Wow.
So what I realized at that point, when it comes to online business, dude, when it comes to like being successful online, what I realized at that point is that it has nothing to do with time. It has everything to do with your strategy. Because we had just spent 3 months banging our head against a laptop and spent 5 racks and didn't make one sale.
Right.
And then this dude comes in, teaches us how to do it differently.
Right.
And we made a sale within 8 hours.
Wow.
Right?
Yeah.
And these are the types of things that are happening all the time. So I say all that to say, get coached first, like learn the right way to do it. Don't just spend your money and just throw money at Mark Zuckerberg. He got plenty of money.
He got plenty of money.
You know what I mean?
And just to add to that, for those of y'all listening right now, you know, what y'all need to understand, what everyone needs to understand is that, you know, a lot of times we put like this disbelief on ads, like, oh, ads don't work, or ads are too complicated, or, you know, I can't do ads, like I don't know how to do it, right? Like, I want y'all to understand that it is extremely possible to do it. Like, we have students that are so non-tech savvy, barely know how to turn on a computer, that have come in under our tutelage and started running the plays on ads and ran it up.
Wow.
Yeah.
Like literally, like we have a student who came to us doing $900 a month, and within, I want to say 5 months, she was up to $52,000 a month.
Wow.
And she was not tech savvy at all. Okay.
But what would you attribute to that level of growth? Did she change her product or service?
No, it's action taking.
Wow.
Right?
Yeah.
Like all the students that we had that are our most successful students are the action takers. Like they're crazy with it, right? They take our plays and they run them, right? And anyone who's, again, going back to your original question, what would I say to someone trying to get them into ads? I would say the only thing that would really stop people from getting ads is like fear of getting in and losing money. What you need to understand about ads is that you control the throttle completely. Right? It's not like traditional marketing where you put up money and you have a billboard up. Dude, it's up. Right? It's up for a month or 3 months, regardless if it's working or not. Yeah. With a Facebook ad, you can put it up, and we have formulas where it's like within 3 days, we're gonna know if that ad's gonna perform or not.
Yep.
So we control the throttle, and we can turn things off or scale them up as quickly or as fast as we want to. So it's just like understanding that you have full control. You know what I mean? But again, it always comes back down to having a process and a formula and kind of knowing what you're doing. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And you know, again, I love the aspect of ads. I mean, you know, because I'll be honest, I was one of those people where, you know, I was just like, all right, I'm gonna get it from the mud, right? Like, you know, I'm a hustler. I'm gonna hustle. You know, I'm gonna put my product or service in front of as much people as possible. I'm gonna do such a good job doing that you know those customers are gonna tell other customers, like really old school word of mouth, you know, type of thought process, right? Until I was introduced to ads, and I realized that ads is an accelerator, right?
Man.
Instead of like wishing and hoping that somebody is gonna like this is my audience. Oh, I hope my audience, because you know that person I'm assuming is connected to other people like them.
Yeah.
Right, which is true, right? And this is from my banking days. As a banker, they're like, listen, you know, you want to treat your customer right because your customer has maybe 10 people that are just like them, and they can refer those people to you. Well, instead of having to pray and hope that I could that the onus, right, I'm putting the responsibility on the customer, that I'm gonna do such a good job that the customer is going to spread the word to their friends.
Facts.
I could just find. I could do the legwork with ads, and I could find a person that's just like them and then market to them with the same characteristics.
Exactly.
So that's why, like, for me, just like a man, like
It's
a
so crazy.
no-brainer, if you will.
Well, to like go back to your point, like ads are only going to amplify what you already are doing, right? So that's why I say it's really like your like mentality of like, I'm going to do my best work and get word of mouth. That's the mentality that everyone should have, right? Give value. The only reason the ads work for us is because we actually do good work. You know what I mean? So ads are
not going to replace a bad product.
It's not going to replace a bad product. If anything, it's going to let people know,
It's
more
gonna
people
expose
know
you, right.
that you have a bad product.
And that's
you know?
another common mistake that people make is not having the best product or service, right?
Yeah.
And then they blame it on the ads, right?
Yeah.
You can have the best ads in the world, but if your product is garbage,
Yep.
It don't matter. You just promoting a garbage product that's gonna get nothing but burn a hole in your pocket.
Right.
Yep. Yep. So it's very important. It's a combination, right? Make sure you have a good product or service first, right?
Yeah.
Make sure the foundation is laid. Yeah. Make sure you're able to collect phone numbers and emails, right? Yeah. Utilizing something that we call a lead magnet, right? You want to make sure that you have that, because once you have that, then you're ready to start running these ads when everything is set up on the back end and it flows so seamlessly. We see it all the time with our students. They do extremely well once they have the process set up.
Yeah, and you guys have an experience, a 5-day challenge coming up where you're gonna help people build their list, right? Who is this experience for?
I mean, it's actually a 3-day challenge.
Okay, 3 days.
But like, yeah, we I would say honestly that this event that we do is honestly for anyone. Like, and I know that sounds crazy, but the thing about it is there's no business in the world that can't benefit from building a quality list and promoting to that list, right? So what we do is, and we do these trainings periodically where we just basically go live and we teach people for 3 days, like all of our strategies on how to grow lists, like all the psychological like stuff that happens, like the psychological like things that are happening to make people actually opt into your offer. Because there's a lot of people who have opt-in or different offers and stuff, but they're not getting any people to opt in,
right? Because
they don't understand the psychological part of what needs to happen, right? So we start teaching all the psychological parts. We teach all the organic strategies. We start going into paid strategies to blow it up. And then it's not, that's still not enough though, right? Because now once you got the list, you got to learn how to make money from the list. So we start going into monetization strategies. And I mean, people are like having crazy results.
Yeah,
like it's kind of nuts.
When I say people are mind blown when they rock with us during this experience, they really are, because it's not like your typical like training, right? Like we're in the trenches with you. Like we are actually hands on with you, making sure that every single day you are getting things done so that when you leave the challenge, you can actually go out and make money. Like literally everything is built. Your systems are built. You will have your system built when you jump into our training. So there's really no reason not to. And it doesn't matter what business you're in either, right? Like,
and I think that's probably one of the reasons that like we've like grown the community that we've grown is because of that hand-holding kind of approach that we have to stuff. And there's a lot of marketers, a lot of people out there that just want to like take your money and then just give you some course or then not even talk to you, and there's no like, you know what I mean? Like it's not like there's no hand holding, there's no like when we do these challenges, dude, we're like you said, we're in the trenches with you, and we got that no man left behind type of thing where it's like, yo, you like, nah, you're gonna get this done, right, before you leave this challenge, and I think people appreciate that.
They appreciate it, number one, but number two, that's why a lot of our students have been successful. You know, like the lady we talked about who went from 900 to 53K. It's because of the fact that she had real guidance.
Yeah, and by the way, too, like everything we're saying, check receipts, right? Like go to richfromanywhere.com, check the receipts. I think you should do that for anybody who's up here talking. Like go and check these things. Like these aren't just things that just sound cool to say. Like
make sure we're not lying to you.
Exactly.
Make sure.
Exactly. You know?
And so you know, that concept, Rich from Anywhere, where'd that come from?
Man, that was like, it's funny because we actually came up with that brand when we were like in a terrible situation. Like we were in a really beat up small little apartment that had like ants and roaches, and it was like nasty, man. Like, and we had this like, and we were actually both working jobs that we hated at the time, but we had this like passion for digital marketing. And by the way, at this point, like digital marketing and e-commerce and all this stuff wasn't really like popping like it is now. Like it's like 7, 8 years ago, something like that. It wasn't really, it was like the wild, wild west back then. You know what I mean? Like everything was a scam. It felt like, but we just loved it, man. We just loved the digital marketing side of it. And it's the concept of being able to work from anywhere, man. Being able to make money from anywhere and not be tied to one particular place to go and make money. You know what I mean? And that was our mindset at the time. Was like I used to be a server and a bartender. So the only time I could make money is when I got in my car and I drove to this one establishment, and that's the only place I could make money. Right? And now fast forward like today, and you can understand this too, like the thought of that is just crazy.
It's repulsive. It makes me want to vomit, honestly.
You know, like it is.
But to
crazy.
go off of what you said, like it brought me back to something. When we created that name, Rich from Anywhere, we really were in a bad space. but mentally we were in a great space. And, you know, I know you're big on abundance and manifestation. So are we. We're big into like the law of attraction and thoughts become things. Yeah. And one of the craziest things, man, one of the things we used to do in this beat up apartment.
Oh, you gonna tell them this?
We gonna go there. We gonna go there. We used to sit down, no, regardless of the circumstance. We used to sit down and we used to role play being multimillionaires and being like literally, like I kid you not, like. Yeah. In the house, like, yo, let's do it for like a couple hours, right? And we would literally have conversations like, yo, what time you picking up the jet? Or yo, I just transferred 50K over to your bank account. Yo, we just had a 6-figure day, you know? Like we literally used to do that, but we used to not only just say these things, but the key to manifestation is not only saying it, but also feeling it as well, and then taking the action. So we started doing that, and here we are today, striving towards even more goals. But you know, I would consider ourselves successful. But it all starts with the mindset, though. You know,
and y'all can do that too, and y'all can do that too. Like anyone watching can do that too. Because I'm telling you, like when you first start doing it, by the way, if y'all take our advice and y'all want to start, you know, doing the things that we were doing. You're gonna like feel like a tennis match at first, right? Because we don't come from money. Like I don't come from money at all, right? So like when we were having conversations about transferring $500,000 into an account and all, like my subconscious was like, bro, you are a bold-faced, like, you know what I mean? Like, but like my conscious mind had to like keep going. So it's this tennis match, right? So when you guys start doing it, just understand that tennis match is completely normal, and just keep going, right? Because eventually the subconscious mind, it only changes with repetition, right? Like you got to just keep going, and eventually your subconscious won't know the difference anymore, and your life will be completely different.
And so if you could give an online business like one piece of advice, what would that be?
I would say, honestly, like if I could give them one piece of advice, it would be to start focusing on pulling those people off of your social media platforms into an actual tangible list that you can then use to promote, right? And that's if you're a business that, you know, already has a following. If you're a business that's already kind of making moves organically, I would highly recommend that, because it's crazy. Like we have friends of ours that have over 1 million followers on TikTok, right? And they're not monetizing at all. They don't even know what that means.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Yeah,
it's crazy.
And what's the key to that though, right? Because again, I want to make sure that, you know, anybody watching who is like interested, right? Like they're like, you know what? I want to grow my list. Yeah. I'm gonna run ads. Like all this stuff sounds good.
Right.
Like what? Like what's that?
You want the sauce.
I want the sauce.
Well, listen, like I'll tell you, man, look, like when it comes to building a list, what you got to understand is when you're trying to collect information from people, the best way for you to collect information from people is by giving away something for free in exchange.
Okay. Got it.
Right? Yeah. And that's what we, in the digital space, we call it a lead magnet. Yeah. Right? Yeah. So you want, and by the way, it's in the digital space, but if you look around, like there's examples of lead magnets everywhere, right? Actually, like one that we use a lot is there's a gas station called Wawa. You ever heard of Wawa? Right?
Love Wawa.
Like, Wawa's the jam, bro.
I love Wawa.
It's not a gas station.
They tuna melt.
Yo, you know what I mean?
With some honey mustard.
This is what I'm saying, bro. This is a perfect example, right? Yeah. Because what Wawa does, I realized this. I was getting gas at Wawa one day, and I looked over and I'm like, hey, wait a minute. Like they give free air here. Yeah. They're giving free air. No other gas station gives free air for your tires. Yeah. Right? And I'm sitting there, I'm like, bro, that's a lead magnet, right? Because how many times will people will go in to the Wawa just to get some free air, and then they get done pumping up their tires, they're done. Now they're looking like, well, I am kind of thirsty though. Like, let me go ahead and get something to drink, and then you talking about
how'd you find out about the tuna melt? What brought you into Wawa?
Probably
the gas, right?
Gas, air, like so that's a lead magnet right there. Now, like, so I want you to wrap your mind around the psychology of this, right? Yeah. I went in there, I got some free air. I wasn't thinking about getting anything else, but I was in the parking lot, so I ended up going in. Now I go in, and it's like this whole experience, right? That's not a gas station, bro. Like that's like, you know what I mean? So now when I had that experience, next time I'm driving down the road and it's time for me to get gas, where am I going to go?
I'm gonna go to Wawa.
And it's all because of free air, right? Like another example would be at the mall, like when you're at the food court. Yeah. What you see people coming up to you with, right?
Yo, they come up to you with the little samples.
The little sticks with chicken and all this crazy stuff, right? Like, Same thing, because they understand
Yeah.
I have to give something away for free in order to get the information, right?
Right.
So what you want to do is, if you want to start building your list, you want to create a lead magnet for your customers to opt in, right?
Yeah.
Now, the trick to creating because anyone can try to create a lead magnet, but it might be a dud. The trick to creating a lead magnet that works is you have to create an irresistible offer for people.
Okay.
You have to be giving something away that is like truly valuable for your customers. All right. Now, the only way that you can create something that's irresistible is by doing the next step, is understanding your customers better than they even know themselves. So you have to understand what their pain points are, what their pleasure points are, what they desire, what they don't want, what their objections are. And if you guys, everyone listening right now, if you own a business, all you're doing is solving problems. That's all business is.
That's it.
Yeah.
You're solving problems.
Yeah.
So just figure out what your customers' problems are.
Yeah.
Create a solution for it, and the floodgates are gonna open.
Yeah.
Period. And come holler at us when it works, because it works.
And for instance, like I'm gonna give y'all a gem for those of y'all that have online boutiques. A giveaway play y'all can run is free clothes for a year.
Free clothes for a year.
Free clothes for a year,
Okay.
right? Think about that, right? Free clothes for a year. In a customer's opinion, if they see that headline, free clothes for a year, oh, I'm in. What do I have to do, right? I'm gonna give you my arm and my arm and my leg to get that free product, right?
Yeah.
So like people are going to opt in. Now, on the back end, you as the owner of the brand, it's all about wording, and it's not about like tricks and stuff like that. But free clothes for a year could mean once a month they get a free outfit. Right? But again, it's all about the psychology and the way that you word these things that get more people in. I'll take 12 free outfits for the year, but I'm not going to word it like 12 free outfits for the year. I'm going to say free clothes for a year because that's going to drive in the most traffic organically.
And like you said, free clothes for a year gets the most traffic to the top of the funnel.
Yep.
Exactly.
Right? And then now from the top of the funnel, you start weeding out or figuring out who's gonna make it to the middle or the bottom of the funnel.
Right, and that's
You
a good
smart.
point.
You smart.
You
Yeah.
smart.
Smart.
You loyal. So you keep coming down. So the funnel, like top of funnel, I want everybody to really wrap their mind around this.
Yeah.
Top of funnel, the whole goal is to turn strangers into people who are aware of your brand. Now you start to retarget people. You turn people who are aware of your brand into customers at the middle of the funnel. Now, the smart brands, they keep going, right? Now, what you want to do is you want to start bringing people down to the bottom of the funnel. All right. Now, at the bottom of the funnel, this is where you turn customers and you turn them into repeat customers. Right. And there's strategies that you can set up on Facebook to help you do all that stuff. Right.
Yeah. And
it's crazy.
So bottom of the funnel, y'all. Remember we talked about 1,000 true fans in the beginning of this. Bottom of the funnel is where you create those 1,000 true fans, those raving fans, those fans that are going to buy from you over and over again, spend over $100 with you throughout the course of the year. Bottom of the funnel is the key to your 6-figure or 7-figure year.
Facts.
Yeah.
And then so building a list, right? So I know your challenge is about building that list.
Yeah.
And there's always been this, I guess nowadays, most people are on their phones, and you have the distinction between email lists or text message. If you could choose a list to build, which one would it be and why?
Oh gosh. Oh, SMS
Phone
all
list.
day, phone all day.
Okay.
And the reason why is because think about it, right? Like my email right now, my personal email gets probably 1,000 emails a day. I'm not opening that.
Right.
However, my phone is attached to my hip, right? Anytime I get a notification, anytime my phone vibrates, I'm looking at it to see who contacted me. So it's crazy because when you look at SMS marketing, you're going to get very, very high open rates with SMS. Like open rates,
Almost 100%.
almost 100%.
Like, you think about it,
99%.
if someone texts you like now, like you might not look at it now, but 5 minutes from, like, you're gonna look at it.
You're gonna check it out.
100%, yeah.
Right?
It's almost to the point where if I see a text message, like I don't even like to see the notification that I got a text message.
Yeah.
So I'll be like trying to go through them so I can clear it out. So
Yeah.
I need a notification. Like, it's weird.
Well, if you look at do what the big brands are doing, right? So I'd encourage all of y'all to opt into whoever your favorite brands are, opt into their email list and their SMS list and see which one they're doing more.
Yeah.
I can guarantee you that the best brands are doing SMS marketing more. I'm subscribed to Fashion Nova, and the reason why is because I'm a student of the game. We study these big brands to see what they're doing so we can share it with our students in layman's terms.
You like the jeans?
I mean, bruh. I mean, Fashion Nova do got some. Got some right.
I'm a big guy, so I don't know if they got my size.
You know, but honestly, like, just do what the big brands are doing.
Yeah.
Opt into their SMS list and see the way that they're marketing to you and how often. Because another common misconception that people always tell us is, oh, I don't want to bother my list that much. I don't want to send off a text blast once a week because I feel like I'm annoying.
Yeah.
No,
that's a big one.
Do not do that. Like, you are doing yourself a disservice and you're doing your customer a disservice by not marketing to them more, because your products are making their lives exponentially better.
Yeah.
So once you start thinking about it like that and thinking about it in terms of, wow, if I'm not sending out a text message right now, my customer's life isn't going to get better. Now all of a sudden you start thinking about it a little differently, and you're going to do everything in your anything you can to get more people to see your brand because you're making their lives better. So that's a good way to think about it.
And I like that perspective though too, because it also helps people to understand that if your business is not making somebody's life better, then you should not be in the business.
Facts,
bro. You know what I'm saying? Because 100%. I think that a lot of people get into business for the wrong reasons, right? They're like, look, I'm tired of my 9 to 5, or, you know, I'm scared of the economy, or whatever reasons that they get into it. They're not really thinking about their customer and how, you know, how they're going to add value. They're really thinking about themselves and how this business could potentially, you know, stack their pockets, secure them and their family. And then now, you know, they have this fear of really kind of going out there because they didn't really provide or sit down and solidify what they offer, right? Man. But when you get to that space where you know, like, you know, like I know that my new software, Book Rich, is gonna make people 6-7 figures easily,
you already know it.
Right? And so because I know this, like I'm doing webinars every week. I'm banging on the door. I'm like, no, you need this product, and I go to sleep at night very well because I know what this provides, and so having that mindset kind of helps you say, no, I know this thing works. I want to make sure everybody knows it. And in fact, if you know your thing can help people and you're not trying to get it to as many people as possible, then you're not being ethically responsible.
Boom.
Facts, bro.
And I'm telling you, anyone who listens to that, and if y'all adopt that mindset, it's going to be very difficult for you to fail. Because there's so little of the population, there's so little percentage of businesses think that way. Most people get into business just to make money. Because, like, I don't know, like, I think just people don't really understand money, right? Like, if you really want to make money, you got to understand, like, the principles of money, right? And understand that money is literally just a byproduct of value creation.
100%,
That's all it is, right? And the amount of money that you make is directly in proportion to the amount of value you bring to the marketplace. 100%. So stop focusing. If you're right now, if you have a business and you're like struggling to make money, I would say stop focusing on making money completely. Start focusing on creating value for your customers, because the money is just going to come automatically.
That's a fact.
Good. That's good. What would you say, or how do you handle the transition, right? So, you know, you guys as music artists wanted to transition to, you know, e-commerce, right? And a lot of times what people do becomes part of their identity. And so it's hard for them to pivot because, you know, they're not doing what they've identified as who they are. Right. And so what was that like? Like, how did y'all successfully pivot?
I'll say this, man, like, as a music, like, we were unique music artists in the fact that we had the marketing gene within us. So, you know, if you're an independent artist, you have to go out there and grind and market yourself. So we'd been marketing, you know, we had been marketing, posting on Facebook, doing things like that. When we started being introduced to e-commerce and we learned ads, we happened to still be doing music. I'm gonna tell you a quick story. So we decided, we know Facebook ads now. We know them pretty well. We've established a 6-figure brand. And we happened to have an event, right? So we decided to throw this event, this rave in Atlanta. Didn't have a big fan base, by the way. Like, our fan base wasn't huge, but we decided, yo, let's rent out a space, let's throw a rave in Atlanta, and let's do all the marketing via ads. So we marketed for about 2 weeks, right? Spent probably about $100-$200 in ad spend, and we sold out the event.
Wow.
Sold out the whole event. Sold about
just $100-$200 in
yes,
ads. Wow.
Kid you not, right?
Wow.
To the point where the post that we used, like, there was college kids tagging other college kids talking about, yo, you gonna pull up? Now, let me tell you the key to that, and the key to all ads, okay? It's the creative. It's the visual. It's the video.
Yeah.
If your video is lacking, you are not going to make any money. I don't care how good your targeting is. So your visual creative has to be on point, okay? And I would second that by saying, do not use pictures in your ads. Stick with videos, because videos tend to convert better right now, right? And another thing you want to do, here's the big gem. Don't just stick with one video. Split test your videos. Do between 2 and 4 different videos that you want to split test. Because here's the thing, if you only run one ad to one video and that video is a dud, you gotta create a brand new ad and test the next one instead of just split testing them. Facebook's gonna distribute the budget to the visual that's performing the best. So you don't even gotta do nothing. Facebook will do it for you if you split test, and then you can say, okay, this particular video spent $5. These other videos spent $1. This video must be the one that's popping off because Facebook likes it. Let me go ahead and turn off the other ones. Let all the budget
Facebook is now
like
Facebook is doing a lot of the heavy lifting for you nowadays. Like when we first started, like it wasn't like that. You had to really pay attention to every single creative and turn things off and on. Now the way that the algorithm works, man, you just set your budget, and Facebook honestly knows how to market your stuff better than you do. You know?
And we've dabbled into TikTok ads too, which is also a big one, TikTok ads as well. But I would say, like, the difference between like TikTok, Instagram, and Facebook ads is that with Facebook and IG ads, if it hits, you can let that thing run. Like, we have students right now currently that have ads running from 2021.
Wow.
Yeah,
the same ad.
Literally, same ad.
Yeah. And so, and I like that you said that you can go between $100 and $200, because I know somebody who's watching may be thinking, well, I don't have ad money.
Right.
But nah, $100, $200.
Right.
In fact, you know, sometimes Facebook won't even let you, you know, put a lot of money into
if it's a new ad account.
If it's a new ad account, right? Like they want you to kind of be like tested. You know, what do you say to the people who are like, well, Facebook is dead, like, you know, Facebook is dying? What do you say to those people?
You've been listening to the wrong people.
Facts.
You know, like now Facebook did have a little like situation a couple years ago with the iOS 14, and things were wonky for a little bit. But I'll tell you what, man, like, they got it back together. Facebook ads, like, right now are popping.
Right.
We have students getting over 20x return top of funnel on some of their ads. Like, it's definitely working. So just like, I would just say, be careful who you pay attention to, because the biggest mistake that a lot of people make, the most expensive mistake people make, is paying attention to the wrong people.
Especially on YouTube University. If you're on YouTube University and you're trying to, like, extract different videos and piece them together to be able to have an ad strategy, I wouldn't recommend that. Reason being is because there's always more info for you to seek. So if you're just running a play based off what somebody said on YouTube, there's always something missing. And you're not going to be able to go to them to ask them a question because you got it off of a video. Okay. So best piece of advice, find someone to guide you and hold your hand through the process. Because when you do that, your chances of getting to success a lot quicker go up exponentially.
And the good news is you don't got to find nobody, because we found you, right? Talk to them about your three-day experience.
Yeah, man. So we do this, the 3-day experience. Basically, we do this periodically. It's called the Grow Your List Challenge. And we basically, like I said before, man, we hold people's hands through the process of the psychological part of actually getting people to opt into their list, right? We show you how to build a list. We show you the softwares to use. We show you how to not only grow the list, but actually how to monetize that list too. And we have our own strategies that we've kind of developed over the years that, honestly, like, nobody's doing this. Like,
help you get rich from anywhere.
Like, facts, bro. Like, and I'm telling you, like, I've looked around for the things that we're teaching, and no one's doing them. So I truly believe that anyone who's interested in building their list and growing their business and having longevity in their business will be blown away by this experience.
Look, we got the link down in the description, but if they wanted to join, where would they go?
Sure. So what y'all are going to do is go to richfromanywhere.com. You'll see a link for our challenge right there. Go ahead and click that link. You can also follow us on social media at Rich From Anywhere on Instagram, at Rich From Anywhere on Facebook, at Rich From Anywhere on TikTok, at Rich From Anywhere on YouTube. Rich From Anywhere everywhere. Just search Rich From Anywhere and you'll see
Rich From Anywhere, everywhere.
Everywhere.
Yeah, facts.
100%. So last bit of advice for our entrepreneurs out there who are just starting out, maybe our side hustlers, maybe the people who, still got a full-time job and they ready to kind of get running. They heard you. They're like, I bet, I'm going to start running ads. I'm going to make sure my my product or service gives value.
Yes.
What's their first course of action? What should they be doing?
Yeah. What I would suggest is learn from our mistakes, right? When we jumped in, we didn't hire a mentor right away. We didn't seek guidance.
Yeah.
We just jumped right in, and that was a costly mistake. We spent about $5,000. So the first thing I would say, if you're just getting started, if you don't have anything set up yet, seek the guidance so you don't have to go through the heartache and the pain of losing $5K.
And that's just the beginning.
Yeah.
Honestly, we've had people that have come to us that wasted $30,000 in ads.
Yeah.
Without results, just because they're doing things the wrong way. Right. So I would agree, man. I mean, just find yourself a really good mentor that you trust, that has the receipts to back up what they're saying, and just follow their guidance, because like I said, success leaves clues. And as long as you can just like pick up like the pieces, you can do it as well, and I look at mentorship like it. I think mentorship is the most amazing thing ever. I look at mentorship like a time machine.
100%.
Right? Like I'm about to jump into this time machine. Yeah. So like the 10 15 20 million dollars in ads you spent figuring stuff out, just teach me that stuff in a couple hours so I don't have to spend that much money.
Yep.
Yeah.
And the 10 years you banged your head against the laptop figuring out all these things, just teach me that in a couple hours so I don't have to spend 10 years.
Shortcut the process.
So if you're looking for the ultimate success hack, it's this. Yeah. It's find people who are more successful and smarter than you.
Yep.
And when you find those people, you pay them whatever they ask.
Facts.
And then you do whatever they say.
Facts.
That's it.
There you have it, y'all. And I'm telling you, I can vouch for it. Like, that is the formula. I went through years of ups and downs as an entrepreneur trying to figure things out myself. The moment I started to invest in myself was the moment I started to see exponential growth, and it cut the time. In fact, I felt like I was, like you said, it was like a time machine, like a quantum leap. Like I went from here, and I was like, like it happened so fast that I'm like, and to be honest, like sometimes I think I'd be like, yo, last year I was celebrating doing 6 figures in a month. And then going from that to a space where, you make it in a day and then you make 7, like that is like at one point that thought was crazy to me until I got around other people, until I got around people who are teaching me how to do that.
Yes.
And so really anything that we want, any thought process we have, any goal that we want to accomplish.
Yes.
All you got to do is borrow the confidence of the person who already has
that's a fact.
Because they do it so effortlessly that they could show you the way. And all you got to do, like you said, pay them what they charge, do whatever they say.
Facts, man. That's it. And this works for any, like you said, anything. We're talking about business because that's what we're talking about. Yeah. But it also goes for relationships. Yeah. Right? Like if you want to be in a better relationship, get around other couples that have great relationships. Facts. And it will increase that. Yeah. If you want to be more healthy, get around people who are healthier. Like it just works all across the board.
When you're around success and high vibrations, you have no choice but to match that vibration. You know? So it's very imperative that you get around an inner circle of people that you want to be like. Yeah. If you wouldn't trade lives with them, you probably shouldn't rock with them.
Facts.
You know what I'm saying? So that should be your rule, like going through and finding people that you rock with. Yeah. Find people that you would trade lives with.
If you wouldn't trade your life with them, then don't take advice from them.
Bars. Look, they still musicians. You know what I'm saying? Got the bars.
Let's go.
Steven. Yo, what's the irony in that?
It's crazy, right?
Like, what's the irony?
I don't know how that happened.
Y'all having the same name.
There's really no irony, other than the fact that we started out like in college kids, independent music artists.
Yeah.
We ended up linking up. We found some like-minded connections friends.
Yeah.
And started rocking out, had the chemistry there. And then we were like, yo, what's your name? Oh, my name's Steven. What's your name?
Thought he was
Steven.
joking.
I was like, yo, Steven with a PH? He was like, yeah, Steven with a PH.
And it's spelled the same, too.
It's spelled the same. Oh, it's crazy.
Yo. Look, Steven is Steven. Rich from anywhere. Find that everywhere.
Yes,
Facts.
sir.
Yo, again, just, you know, I mean, if y'all, last words for the folks.
Man, you got this.
Yes,
you know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
like that's it. You know, like we came from we came from the mud. Yeah. Like that's the way I say it. We came from the mud and we pulled ourselves up by these things that we're showing you today, right? Yep. So the biggest thing is I would say is like everything that you learned today. Hopefully this inspired you, but don't let it just inspire you. I want you to actually take action on this stuff because there's never the perfect time, right? There's never a perfect time that like. You got to do it now, you know? And we always say, you know, imperfect action always beats perfect procrastination.
100%.
Yeah.
Right. So just get it how you got it right now, start doing and just start breaking stuff and fixing stuff as you go.
Yep.
That's it. All right. Take action now. No opportunity wasted. We are closing out the vault. Another awesome episode of Inside the Vault with Ash Cash. Make sure you follow us everywhere at Inside the Vault. Matter of fact, go to our website, InsideTheVaultShow.com. Me, I am Ash Cash. Make sure you visit me, IamAshCash.com. Follow me on all social media platforms at I am Ash Cash. And make sure you join us inside of the Abundance community. We got Steven and Steven giving you gems that we ain't talk about on the show.
Yeah.
Some behind the scenes footage. Make sure you become a member. Go to AbundanceCommunity.org. The greatest financial spirituality community on the planet. I'll see y'all next time, same place, in God's will. All right, y'all. Peace.
All right, guys, hope you enjoyed that video. Hope you're enjoying the holidays and all that good stuff. You know, one thing we like to do over here at RFA at the end of the year is we always like to take inventory of, you know, what happened in 2024, what happened this year, what were the things that actually worked for us, what were some of the things that just was a waste of time, right? So that way we can get better and better and better every single year. So one thing I'd like for y'all to do while you're enjoying the holidays and sitting back enjoying with your family, you know, sit down and really get honest with yourself and say, you know what were some of the things that I did in 2024 that actually moved the needle for my business? What were the actual things that made me money, that grew my brand, that built my list, whatever that thing is for, like, what were the things that actually did that? And what were some of the things that I did that was really honestly just a complete waste of time, right? It felt like I was doing stuff and I was busy, but it really didn't do anything for the business, right? Really think about that, because you know, you have to remember the Pareto's principle, the 80-20 rule. 80% of the results that you get in your life or that you get in your business, they come from 20% of the efforts that you put in. So meaning only 20% of your activities are actually producing 80% of the results in your business and in your life in general. And that's pretty ridiculous when you think about it. It's crazy, you know? 80% of the stuff that we do in our life most of the time doesn't even move the needle at all. We're just busy. It's just busy work, right? It makes us feel like we're doing a bunch of stuff, but it's not actually moving the needle. So what were some of the things? And we actually asked this question inside of our inner circle a couple weeks ago. And, you know, a lot of our members were coming on and they were saying a lot of different things. But one thing that I heard multiple times repeated was one of the best things that they ever did in this year was join our mentorship program and listen to some of the things that we were saying and running Facebook ads and doing these types of things, because these are things that are actually moving the needle for their business. It's bringing more awareness to their brand. It's bringing more customers in. It's building their brand, all these types of things. And these are the things that, you know, we're doing as well. Like, so for instance, in 2024, probably a couple of the big things that we did was, first of all, collaborations were big for us. Running Facebook ads have been really, really huge for us, obviously for years, but this year we're starting to ramp up the ad spend. In 2025, we really plan on ramping up the ad spend even more and really starting to push out and expand on a whole nother level, right? So that's one thing. And then also I'd say joining mentorship programs was another big one as well. Like getting into communities of people who are like-minded, that are doing bigger and better things than us, that are smarter than us. It really just forces us to be better. It forces us to expand and to not be complacent, right? And so those were a couple things that had moved the needle for us in 2024 and honestly for years. And we're going to continue to keep doing those things because they work, right? So what were some of the things that you did? And you know, another good question is, what were some of the things that you didn't do that you should have done? Or maybe, you know, you were too afraid to do, or maybe you procrastinated on and you have in your mind, like, man, if I would have done that, like, I know my business would be in a whole nother state right now, right? What were some of those things? So that way in 2025, you don't make those same mistakes, right? So anyway, let's get back to another video and really reflect on what I just said. Write those things down. That way you don't make those same mistakes again. All right, let's get into the next video.
So we all know in entrepreneurship, there are ebbs and flows. There are peaks and valleys. People that truly believe that entrepreneurship is just a straight line upward are people that have not been entrepreneurs before. What you have to understand is that in this game of entrepreneurship, success is our ultimate goal, but there's going to be slow months. That's inevitable. There's going to be months that aren't as high as others. What I see a lot of entrepreneurs doing is that when they have one of those slow months that really just dips down and is out of the norm, it's literally the end of the world to them. It's like, oh my gosh, I don't know what I'm gonna do. I'm losing money. Oh my gosh. And they freak out and they panic, and that brings their energy down. And when your energy becomes lower, that prevents you from being motivated to push your business forward. And it ultimately handicaps your business. And I'm seeing a lot of entrepreneurs out here who are thinking with that mindset. That is not the mindset that we need to have when we're focused on exploding our business. Not too long ago, Rich from Anywhere, our business bank account had $5 in it. And one of the things that we did not do was cower in a corner or think that it was the end of the world or panic or anything like that. We continued to push forward. And that's what I want you to do. I want you to continue to push forward when there are those slow months. I've seen people that have had 2 slow months in a row and they're on the verge of quitting. They're on the verge of giving it all up, just forgetting about it and not continuing to push forward. But then on the other side, there's some entrepreneurs who are special who keep the end in mind. They recognize their goals. They recognize the destination that they want to get to. And because of that, they continue to push forward. And these months don't matter to them. These slow months don't matter to them. What we all have to start doing as entrepreneurs is we all have to adopt the Magic Genie mindset. And I'm actually going to break that down for you right now. And by the way, this hack works every time, 100% of the time, if you use it. And I encourage you to use it. Let me put you through a quick little scenario here. Let's just say that you get approached by a magic genie, and this magic genie is able to grant you one wish regarding your business. So the magic genie asks you, hey, what is your wish for this business? And what you say is, oh, I want to make $1 million. The magic genie's response to you is, okay, great. I can make it so that you're going to make $1 million, but there's just one catch. You have to wait an entire year before you've amassed that amount of money. So the Magic Genie lets you know this information and you agree to those terms. Now that you know that, the Magic Genie says, hey, okay, so this is set in stone now. Let me carve this in stone. This is guaranteed to happen. You will make $1 million 1 year from now within your business. Now go about your business and do what you do in your business. That's what the Magic Genie says. So now you knowing that you're excited, you're like, yo, I'm going to make $1 million. Like, this is crazy. I know I'm going to make it. This is amazing, right? So then you start going about your business and you start doing the things in your business necessary to be successful. So month 1 comes and you start off the gate and it's slow. It's really slow. It's like really, really, really slow. And at that point, most entrepreneurs, the way that they think, they would have one slow month and they would get discouraged. They would have one slow month and they would feel like, oh my gosh, it's the end of the world. But you, because you have that Magic Genie mindset and you know that your end destination is to be a millionaire, now that you know that, that one slow month isn't going to change your mindset at all. So what you're going to do, because you know that you're destined to make $1 million, is you're going to keep pushing forward in the business. You're going to get the right types of coaching. You're going to acquire the right types of knowledge, because in your mind, you're going to be like, yo, what do I need to do to hit that milestone? I know I'm going to hit it, but I know I need to do some work. So what am I going to do? So that slow month does not faze you. Let's say you continue to push forward in your business and month 2 comes. And in month 2, it's even worse than month 1. I'm talking about everything is just falling apart in the business and you're losing money and things just aren't going your way. Now, the entrepreneur that does not have the Magic Genie mindset, they're going to look at this and they're going to be like, oh my gosh, it's the end of the world. I don't know what to do. Should I get another job? Like, what do I do? But you, because you have the Magic Genie mindset and you know that 11 months from now, you're going to be making $1 million a year, your mindset is different. So when that speed bump comes, when that wall comes within your business that begins to block you, you are still very happy. And you are still very motivated to push forward in the business. You're excited. You're jumping through the business. You're knowing, yo, I just got to keep pushing. I got to keep pushing because I know it is guaranteed that I'm going to make $1 million in the course of the year. So let me just keep going. And you keep going. And by the way, when you keep going and when you keep pushing forward during these slow months, this is just part of the process to you. You're just trusting the process. And in the process of that, you are becoming a better entrepreneur. Your mindset is now unshakable. You're continuing to push forward. Let's move to month 3. Month 3 comes, and now all of a sudden, because of the fact that you didn't get discouraged from those past couple months of hardship, now all of a sudden you're seeing some light in the tunnel. You're all of a sudden seeing some revenue come in, and you're getting excited. You're happy about it because of the fact that you know 9 months from now, you are going to make $1 million. So you're continuing to push, and now you're seeing the fruit of your labor starting to manifest. And you're continuing to push. Meanwhile, the other entrepreneur who thought it was the end of the world, their business is staying exactly the same. No elevation, just straight up downward, right? And then as you continue to push and as you continue to have this confidence every single month, there's more revenue generated within your business. You're accomplishing more. You're learning more. Your mindset is elevated. Your peace of mind is greater. Your confidence is through the roof. All of these things begin to happen because you've adopted the Magic Genie mindset. Now, as we continue to push forward and as you continue to know that you're going to make this $1 million in the course of a year, you're going to look back a year from now, you're going to have made that money within your business, and you're going to be looking at all your peers who do not have the Magic Genie mindset, who might have had a couple slow months in their business. You're going to be looking at them and you're going to be looking down like, hey, how's the view down there? You know, you're going to be looking at them like that because you're much more elevated because you've adopted that Magic Genie mindset. So I encourage all of you all, continue to push forward. Identify what your end goal is. Do you want to make $1 million? Do you want to make $2 million at the end of the year? Identify that and truly trust and believe that you will hit those numbers. Truly feel it within your soul that you will hit those numbers. Because when you do, and when you have an ultimate belief within yourself and a belief in your destination, and it's unshakable, then the slow months that happen within your business, you're going to chalk that up to being part of the process. Because that's all it is. That's part of the process. You are destined for greatness. You are destined for superstardom. Your brand is going to blow up, but you have to believe it first. Adopt that Magic Genie mindset and continue to push forward, and you will see success within your business.
If you're afraid to put yourself out there, you need to start doing it anyway, because this is how you make money. Like, it can level up everything that you do.
Yeah, if you post content regularly, it helps everything else that you're doing. It helps your webinars convert better, it helps your challenges convert better, and it's not difficult. Facebook has 52,000 data points on every single profile.
Like how?
It's crazy.
Facebook makes so much money because they've made it easy.
If there was one thing that we could teach a business owner that could help them make the most money and excel and grow their business the most, from our experience, it was.
What up, Wealth Builders? Today, you know, I am trying to figure out digital marketing and be the best. And so I keep bringing in people who are killing it. These guys, I mean, their both names are Steven. They don't look the same, but they dress the same. And, you know, they are going to be talking about building list funnels, all these different things you can do with challenges and more. What's up, boys? Good to see you.
What's going on, bro? It is a pleasure to be here.
Yeah.
And by the way, we love your operation. We came to WealthCon in January, and it was
insane.
Thank
you.
The level at which you are operating is inspirational, bro. So definitely wanted to say that.
Yeah. No, I appreciate it, guys. I always love bringing in either people from our community, people I meet at our events and everything else. And I know you've been on a couple of other shows, like you were with Justin and the Wealthy Creator podcast. And so I was like, all right, let's talk to these guys about funnels and marketing and building a list and everything. Yes, because for me, for anyone who's been following me, I took over my marketing department pretty much after Thanksgiving last year. So I'm now basically 3 months into running it ourselves for the first time. And, you know, you guys are kind of anti-agency, even though you used to be an agency.
Right.
And I'm kind of like leaning that way now too, where I'm like, you know what, guys, like people just need to learn how to do this.
Yes.
Definitely. It's huge. I mean, we've literally, it came from being on thousands of calls with clients that are hitting us up just with horror stories about these agencies that were either just not doing good work, stealing their pixel data, stealing their ad accounts,
holding them hostage.
Holding them hostage,
I mean,
not giving them access to their ad accounts, like literally shutting everything down. And, you know, that's the thing. Some of these, not all agencies, but some of these agencies get very bitter when you fire them.
Yeah.
And they're like, fine, I'll take the pixel data. I'll take all of this stuff.
Yeah, I'll take all your data, your leads.
So they're spending $5K, $10K, $15K a month. They're not getting great results. And then, you know, 3 months goes by, 6 months goes by. They don't know what they're doing. They didn't get any results. And then they're feeling like, and that's a big situation for a small business owner, you know? So anyway, we used to be an agency and we got great results for our clients, but it really wasn't fulfilling like that. So we transitioned and we started kind of coaching a few people and we're like, man, what if we like just taught people how to do this? I wonder if people could get it.
Yeah.
You know, and we tested it out with a few people. And one of our first students was a lady named Cherie. She was, what was she making? $900 a month? $900 a month selling clothes. We trained her for like, I don't know the exact, a month, 2 months?
It was about 2 months of training.
And then after 2-3 months, she ended up doing 50, 60K a month. Just by
just
herself.
Selling her clothes,
Just selling her clothes online.
Because she figured out how to run ads.
And she learned how to do it herself.
So yeah, what we did was we taught her how to run ads like an agency would run ads. Right. So that kind of eliminates the middleman and allows you to be more profitable within your business.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, the thing I found out too, it's not even, for me anyways, it wasn't about the retainer, right? Because I've paid agencies $5,000, $10,000, $20,000 a month, right? And that's not ad spend or anything.
Nope.
That's just the retainer based on, you know, all the stuff they're going to do for you.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, well, I could for sure bring that all in house for the same price, if not less. You know, right now I brought it in house. It is about the same price. I'm spending about $20,000 a month for salaries and everything on my own marketing team.
Mm-hmm.
And that's not counting my content team. I'm just talking the paid marketing team, funnels, all that stuff.
Right.
But the big difference is we're only focused on me.
Yes.
You know, they're right here in my office. We have creative control. We're building it our way, the way we want to do it.
Yep.
It's just, it's way easier.
Nobody cares about your marketing like you do.
Right.
So when you hire an agency for $5K, you got to understand they're just going to do the bare minimum just to not get fired, you know? And my whole thing is, and this is what I try to tell people, if you're on the phone with an agency and you're trying to decide if you should work with them or not, and you've never been trained, how do you even know if they're even good or not?
Yeah.
You have no idea.
That was me for a long time.
You know, and people will pull the wool over your eyes. They'll tell you whatever they want to hear. But at the end of the day, the only way that you'll really know is if you ask them technical questions right on the spot.
Yeah.
Right? Ask them some hard questions and see if they can answer it. And if they can't, hang the phone up. And now you just saved yourself months of pain, tens of thousands of dollars. And I think the biggest pushback we always get is that marketing's hard to learn. It's like difficult or overwhelmed.
Bro, let me tell you.
Like, I'm telling you.
This is funny you say this because I built all our businesses off the back of organic marketing. I just created good content. And so it was just like, bro, we get leads. Like, that's not the problem. I don't need to run ads. So I built our business to, you know, I think the first year I did content, we did, and this is just the education space. We went from basically 0 to 700 grand organically. And then the next year we did 3.5 million, all organic. We never spent $1 on ads.
Crazy.
And I was like, yeah, I mean, like and then you realize there is a cap to like organic growth and everything, even though you make a ton of money.
Right.
And I just was like, all right, we'll start hiring agencies. And like, I would hear them talk about pixels. People right now are listening to Pixel and they're like, what the heck is a pixel?
Yeah, exactly.
You know?
Exactly.
I would hear ROAS and all this stuff. And I'm like, dude, this is just, I don't even want to learn it.
It sounds like
it's just, it sounds like a lot.
Yeah. And
I did that for years. And finally, I took it over at the end of the year because I had capacity. I had enough understanding after interviewing a bunch of people like you. And then we started doing it. And I'm like, this is not that hard.
It's not that hard.
It's honestly fun. Like when you get into it, like we love talking about pixels. Like talk about pixels. We love it. And we love
explain what a pixel is just so people know. Like I do want this to be a very a masterclass
For sure.
Absolutely.
on marketing.
Cool. So a Facebook pixel is this little piece of code that you can plug in onto a website, right? And the pixel is in charge of tracking data, tracking the actions that people perform on your website. So for instance, if someone comes to your website, they add a product to cart, the pixel will track that action as an add to cart. Someone purchases, the pixel will track that action as a purchase. Now, you might be listening and you might be thinking like, okay, what's the big deal about that? But the big deal is that it doesn't just track the actions, it stores the data as well. And that allows you to create something called a custom audience. So a custom audience is a segmented group of people that have performed a specific action on your website or somewhere. It's just a segmented group of people, right? And I love the look on people's faces when I tell them that although they might not have a pixel on their website, they still have the ability to capture data that the pixel would collect via Instagram.
Okay.
Because the pixel is natively integrated on Instagram. And a lot of people didn't know that. So if you're listening right now and you have, 100,000 followers or something like that, you can literally track all of those actions from your Instagram and create the same custom audience, right? And this is where it gets good, right? Let's just say that you have a custom audience of 100 people that have purchased from you, like in the past, right? Would you agree that those 100 people that have purchased from you are really interested in your products and services and everything that you have to offer?
Mm-hmm.
For
Absolutely.
sure.
Yep.
So you have this list of 100 people that bought from you. Now what you can do, and this is like Facebook's superpower, now what you can do is you can take that list of 100 people and you can say, hey, yo, Facebook, you see this list of 100 people that love me? I want you to go out there and create a lookalike audience similar to these people that have already performed those actions on my website. So Facebook says, okay, cool. I'll go ahead and create a duplicate audience, but different people.
Yep.
Right. So these are people that are the same in certain ways. They might spend the same type of money. They might be interested in the same type of things, but they are the audience of people that Facebook is going to find. But Facebook does you one better. Facebook says, okay, you got that list of 100 people. I'm going to create a lookalike audience off of that list, but this audience is going to be millions of people.
It's crazy.
That are similar.
It's a super hack.
It's literally like performance enhancing drugs, like in the 90s when McGuire and all them boys were hitting them home runs. That's what Facebook ads
But then
does.
it's like, oh,
Well, now it's all the Instagram influencers, but the performance enhancing drugs.
exactly.
Myself included. But anyways,
Facts. but so then people are like, all right, but like, how do we really know that those people are like really like those people? And this is where you have to understand how much data Facebook has on its users. Facebook has 52,000 data points on every single profile. Think about that for a second.
How?
It's crazy. Like, bro, I don't even know 52 things about myself. Like, it would take me a while to.
Yeah, they know more about you than you.
Yes,
Oh, facts.
you do. And so what is a data point? A data point is, okay, what time do I open up my Facebook app in the morning? What type of videos do I look at? How long do I typically look at them? And it just goes on and on and on. So 52,000 data points on every profile.
What post are you commenting on?
Yeah.
How do you?
Everything, bro.
What kind of post do you make?
Yes. So when we say like these lookalike audiences are the cheat code, it literally is. So this is how we go out. We go off and we find people who are literally loving and liking the products that we already sell.
Yeah.
Brand new, strange, cold audiences. We use lookalikes every day. We teach about this stuff. So it's huge.
And you know what's amazing about Facebook marketing? And look, for anyone who's listening to this, the Facebook algorithm and the YouTube algorithm, they all work the same way, right? It's like, yeah, you're not paying for it, which is why I'm an advocate of, content marketing.
Yeah.
Because if I make a video right now, this podcast, YouTube knows that, hey, I'm going to serve this up to people who like digital marketing, who are into ads, and they're going to already feed it to those people because they're going to know that a lot of my real estate people aren't going to necessarily care as much about this, even though they should, because right now I'm running Facebook ads with lookalike audiences to buy houses nationwide.
There you go.
And we're crushing it.
There you go.
So, and it's cheaper than I've ever done. And it's crazy because now that I run my own marketing team, I was able to see these things. And I'm like, wait a minute. I've done traditional marketing in real estate for a long, long time. Direct mail, TV commercials, billboards, all this stuff. And though some can be targeted like direct mail, I know who I want to talk to. My TV commercials and my billboards, I don't know who's seeing it. Like everybody is seeing it, right?
That's the big part.
And I got to pay the same amount regardless of who's seeing it. Facebook's like, no, dude, we only want you to pay for the right people to see your thing.
Exactly.
Yeah. And the amount of metrics that you have on the back end. Once you start learning the metrics part, it gets super fun.
What are some metrics that people would need to know?
And by the way, the reason why you need to know these metrics is because I want you guys to think about what he said earlier, right? The pixel's on your website and it's tracking the data. But also the next thing that it does is it sends that data back over to Facebook.
Yeah.
So now you can go inside of the back end of Facebook, the ads manager, and you can tell which ads are making you money and which ones are wasting your money. So you can strategically turn ones on and off.
How do you get a pixel, just so people know, like,
so,
you know, like where do you find this pixel?
It's in the business manager. So if you go to business.facebook.com
okay,
and you go to settings and then you go down to data sets, you can create a pixel. It'll give you a piece of code. And then you can either put that code on your website or you can just integrate it. There's a lot of integrations.
And by the way, people get confused now because here's the thing. If you're a Facebook marketer, you know that Facebook is always changing. So the way that your ad account looks today might not be the way that it looks a month from now, because they're always changing and trying to find ways to make the platform better. So the pixel thing, actually the Facebook pixel is no longer called a pixel. It's actually called a data set now.
Oh.
So when he talks about, you know, going to your set, and when you go to your settings now, there's a section that says pixels, but when you click there, you won't see a pixel there. You can't create it. So you got to go one below to data sets, and that's where you would create the pixel.
Yeah. Interesting.
Yeah.
Okay.
So anyway, all this data is now coming into your ad account. And I want people to think about this data like a language. It's literally a language that's telling you what's working, what's not working. But if, like with any language, if you don't understand it, you have no idea what it's telling you to do. So you got to understand the language. And once you understand this language, it's like all the overwhelm turns to clarity and you're like, oh, you had the epiphany moment like you did. This isn't even that hard, you know? So there's a couple metrics that are probably the most important that we tell people about. One is called CTR. It stands for click-through rate. And your CTR, and I'll prove to you how easy this is right now, right? CTR stands for click-through rate. And all it's telling you is how well is my ad creative performing? How is it resonating with my audience? The higher the click-through rate, the better your creative or your video or your image is performing.
Just so everyone's clear too, what he's talking about is the content itself, right?
Content, yeah.
So, you know, on YouTube, we have click-through rate and we look at that through the thumbnail. That's how we judge the thumbnail of a YouTube video, right? Because if you're on YouTube and you're just browsing what to watch, you can't see the video. You're just looking at the title and the thumbnail.
Right.
And so YouTube looks at that and they say, oh, your click-through rate was 5%. That means 5% of the time when they saw it, they clicked it.
Exactly.
Right. And so clearly we want people to we want a higher click-through rate.
Yep.
We want people to say, oh, you know what? That looks interesting. Let me watch that.
Exactly.
So that's all creative at that point. That has nothing to do with your audience or anything. It's like, bro, how good was this ad?
How good was it? So what we want to do is we want to, okay, I know my click-through rate is telling me how well my creative is performing. So we need benchmarks to tell me, okay, is it performing good or bad? So our benchmark is 1% or higher when it comes to a conversion ad, right? So that means if you go into your ad account and you see your CTR is less than 1%, all that's telling you is, hey, your creative's not really resonating with your audience. You probably need to switch your creative out,
right?
Which means just switch do another video,
make a new ad.
Different.
Yep.
If it's higher than 1%, that means that you don't have necessarily a bottleneck at that stage. And remember, we like to look at like ads and we're looking at our metrics like we're doctors, like we're like diagnosing where's the problem, right? How can I make this perform better? So that's what these metrics allow us to do. So that's one.
Yeah. And one thing I want to say too is 1% or above for a conversion campaign. So meaning that you're optimizing to get people to buy from you, essentially, a sales campaign. But when we talk about a traffic conversion, it's a little bit different because you could be listening right now and running a traffic campaign and your click-through rate could be 2.
What's a traffic campaign?
So a traffic campaign is essentially a campaign where you're telling Facebook, hey, Facebook, I want you to run this ad and my main objective is to get as much traffic as possible to my website or the link that you're sending them to. That's a traffic campaign.
And remember, Facebook knows more about people than they know about themselves.
Exactly.
So they know if you are one of those people who just like to click on links.
Exactly. So Facebook's going to target those people. They're going to target the link clickers. Now, here's the issue with the link clickers, though. The link clickers are not always the buyers. The link clickers are like window shoppers, right?
Yeah.
So like when you're out here and you're doing a traffic campaign because it might be a little bit cheaper, you got to understand too that you're also bringing in a lower quality audience, and that's why traffic campaigns are cheaper.
You're bringing in the peasants.
Exactly. But when you run a conversion campaign, Facebook's going to target the people that are more likely to buy from you.
Yeah.
And since we're talking about this is very fitting. You should never, ever, 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 ever boost your posts. You should never boost your posts.
Why is that?
We have this saying, and what I say is boosting your post is the devil. That's what I say, right? And the reason why is because on the back end, like if you try and boost your post, you're very limited with the things that you can do targeting wise, audience wise, lookalike audience wise. You're very limited. There's not much you can do. But Facebook always makes it seem like it's this easy, like you wave this magic wand.
Well, it is easier.
It's easier.
Yeah.
It's just not as effective. And I've seen maybe 2 people out of the thousands of people that we've coached that have been successful boosting posts.
Yeah.
Right?
I'll add to that. I call them ads, but they're not. You know, it'll be just a normal piece of content that's valuable and good. And at the very end, I'll be like, DM me Flip if you want to learn how to flip houses, right? So, 90% of the thing was just pure normal content. And then at the end, it's just a soft call to action.
So you know what you're getting there, basically. You know why you're doing it. You already have the call to action there. Everything's done. And in that case, you'll boost.
Yeah, well, not even now that I know what you know. But before, I would just boost it because I would organically get a bunch of DMs, which are leads. And then I was like, you know what? If that was a great organic reel, because I'll get some that get 100,000 organically. And you're like, dang, dude, if that did that organically, it's going to be great as an ad.
Right.
So I would boost it and it would get more and more ad. And it was just easy.
Yeah.
But I agree with you. That same thing, I should just take and then go put it in Ads Manager and then be able to use all the data.
Well, yeah, that's what I was going to ask you. What would you say now that you've been on
I put
both
it in
sides of the
Facebook Manager.
spectrum? Okay.
Yeah,
definitely.
Yeah. And that's the thing, right? That's what we try to teach people because when we started our e-commerce brand, we spent $5,000 boosting posts, running ads the wrong way before we realized that it was the wrong way.
Yeah.
And this was 7 years ago or so. And after that, we decided, enough is enough. We can't keep doing things the wrong way. Let's find a mentor to actually guide us and teach us the process. You know what I'm saying? But I just don't want your listeners to go through that same thing. So
it's crazy.
Save you some heartache.
And the reason I think Boost exists is because it is super easy. So literally you press Boost and you get leads.
And Facebook really sells it too. They're like, put $20 in and reach another 20,000 people.
Yeah, and I don't blame them because it's it does take more work to be oh, well, I'm gonna,
of course,
I gotta go move this and the manager's different and all this crap. I get it.
Anything that's worth doing is harder.
Yeah.
Right? And that's the whole thing is people got to understand that do it the right way so you can get the right results. All the magic is in the back in the Ads Manager. And if you guys learn how to do that, it's it's the cheat
Okay,
code.
so we talked about click-through rate. We talked about what else did we talk about?
So CTR is one.
Yep.
Another one that you can look at is one called CPMs.
Yep.
Which stands for cost per 1,000 impressions, essentially. Yep. And again, all this sounds like gibberish until you can put it into layman's terms, simplicity. All the CPM is telling you is, hey, how much money is it costing me for this ad to be seen 1,000 times? That's it.
Yeah.
So you'll see a number pop up and maybe it'll be $20, $30. Whatever that number is, it's just telling you that's how much money it's costing you for 1,000 people to see.
Yeah.
Actually, not 1,000 people, actually for it to just be seen 1,000 times.
Yeah.
Right. Because the same person can see something more than once.
Right.
So with your cost per 1,000 impressions, you want to keep that as low as possible.
Yeah.
Because we want our cost as low as possible.
Yeah.
Right. And that has changed over the course of some years now. When we first started running, we were getting $5 CPMs. It was crazy.
Yeah.
But now it's getting more expensive. And our goal right now is about $20 to $25 or less. Is our goal with CPMs.
Yeah.
And again, it's all just understanding the benchmarks. And if our CPMs start to rise, then what that's telling us is that our audience is too competitive. Remember, Facebook ads it's all an auction that's happening. You and us, we're running ads and we're targeting the same people. So it's like an auction. We're trying to win.
Yeah. Even though we have different offers, it's well, should I get into real estate or should I run my own ads?
But it's even before that, it's what's happening is basically it's auctioning to see, okay, whose ads actually going to be shown. Right. So if we have a higher price or whatever it might be, but ultimately you want to win that auction. But if you have a bunch of people that are targeting the same exact audience at the same exact time, your CPMs will rise and they'll get more expensive.
Yeah.
So you want to kind of pay attention to these few numbers because that'll tell you what to do.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I can say this too, as somebody who spends 6 figures plus a month on ads, sometimes multiple 6 figures and everything, like, they change a lot with scale too.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yes, they do.
it might be a good price for a little bit, and then you start really ramping that thing, and it's like, whoa, we
Gets
just
more
doubled.
expensive. Yeah.
Are you guys using different ad accounts for different budgets and scaling that way?
No.
So that's one thing that you can try.
Okay.
Because sometimes with ad accounts, if you train a pixel, that's the other thing about the pixel is that it's like a creature that learns.
The AI pixel
You know what I mean?
feature.
Like it literally learns. The more money you spend it learns who your target audience is.
Yeah.
It learns the type of budget you like to spend. Like, so it knows all these things. And then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, if you start increasing your budget like crazy, well, the pixel wasn't trained for that. And as you start to scale, it starts to get wonky. Results start to kind of diminish.
Yeah.
But it's that, but then it's also ad accounts have their own personality
They do.
too. So you could try this, like you could try creating another ad account, use a different time zone,
Got it.
right? Because you got to think, I don't know if you've noticed this in your ads, there's certain times of the day where it just goes crazy. Like there's certain pockets and it's kind of unpredictable, but you'll see it like on a daily basis. Like there's a certain pocket of the day where you get more leads for whatever reason. And that has to do with your ad account as well. So one test that you could do is you could create another ad account with a different budget, change the time zone. If you're Pacific, change the time zone to Eastern and try running ads that way using a different pixel.
Got it.
Yeah.
You know, those are just different scaling techniques that
So,
we've used.
You can have just a scaling ad account that's really there for just, high budgets. And you start right out of the rip. You start with a high, like if you already know you have an audience that's killing it, you got a creator that's killing it, it's already been proven to work, move it over to a different ad account and then start scaling with a high budget right off the rip. That way it's been trained to do that and it can scale properly. So it's something to test. It doesn't always work. You got to, with everything, like, anything that's not a test is a guess at best.
Yeah.
So you got to test it.
I'm sure.
Have you guys gotten into manual bidding at all?
No.
Oh, dude.
Tell me about that.
Manual bidding is nuts. So you got like 2 different types of bidding. You have automatic and manual.
Okay.
Automatic is saying, hey, Facebook, put my stuff wherever you feel is best.
Yep.
And make sure that I win as many auctions as I can. Manual bidding is saying, bully the market. I'm willing to pay this much and I want to knock everybody out of competition.
Yeah.
And you only do that. It's very dangerous. It's crazy, but it's like a double-edged sword. You only do that when you have a proven offer. You know it's working and you can just set your threshold and tell Facebook, I'm willing to pay this much and I want you to knock everybody out of competition, out of the auction. And initially it's really expensive, but eventually all your competitors see their CPMs rising and what do? They cut their ads off. And now you have a blue ocean.
It's essentially the way it works is you're guaranteed to win any auction. Because here's the thing, when you're running ads, automatic bidding, Facebook is pretty much doing the bidding for you.
It's bidding against itself.
Right. It's bidding against others, but it's gonna keep your costs lower, you know. But when you manual bid, you say, hey, Facebook, I'm willing to spend $100 to get somebody to see my ad. Now all of a sudden, anyone who's automatic bidding, Facebook's not going to bid that high because they don't want to run through people's money. So you're going to win all of the auctions and it's going to force your content to be seen by more people.
Does your team know about this yet?
Dude, probably not. I mean,
We might need to have a chat.
yeah. So manual bidding
Yeah.
to just conquer a certain audience.
Conquer a market. Yeah. And you're bullying. It's like the bully method. That's what we call it.
I am a bully.
Yeah. You are a bully.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you might as well be a bully on Facebook.
I mean, I'll be a bully anyway. I don't care. Again, I come to rip throats and stomp.
That's
man.
Well, the manual bidding is for you then, bro. That's your
For sure.
personality. It'll just knock everybody out. Everybody's like, oh my God, this is too expensive. Cut them off, try a different audience. And then meanwhile, now your cost per result starts to kind of decrease. It'll be really expensive at the first.
So when you do manual bidding, is it like, okay, if I bid 100, I'm paying 100?
Yeah.
Or will it doesn't go down to whatever the best would have been?
No, it's not going to spend your $100 like off the rip. It's basically just telling Facebook, hey, Facebook, I'm willing to put up this amount of money.
Yeah, exactly.
right.
So if the win is 50, I pay
Right.
50.
Yeah.
Right.
It's like how eBay is when you want to put your max bid.
Yeah.
Yep, exactly.
That's
It's
it.
like that. But we're talking Facebook ads, and Facebook ads is great. It's very competitive though, right? And like 5-6 years ago when we were running ads,
it's pretty cheap.
Yeah.
It's pretty cheap to get wins. But now there's this other platform that's started doing ads, and that's TikTok ads. Have you done any TikTok ads?
You know, when I had an agency, they I think they've messed around with it. But
Okay.
I mean, as I've like been building ours out, I'm just like one thing at a time.
No, that's good to do. Stick with Facebook. TikTok is another option though, because it's cheaper, right?
Yeah.
You get way lower CPMs. And the reason why is just because there's not as many people advertising on that platform.
It's also a new algorithm.
Yep.
As you said earlier, all algorithms are kind of designed the same. Anytime a new platform opens up,
it's going to be cheaper.
It's going to
Yep.
be wide open,
Yep.
and then it closes its door, like slowly but surely. So we're seeing that already on TikTok, but right now it's still in kind of that infancy stage.
Yeah.
So the CPMs are super low, so you get way more traffic.
Yeah,
on
and
TikTok.
that could be something. Now, conversion wise, I'd still say Facebook is
It's better.
the better one. But you
now,
can
when you
try
say
TikTok.
conversion wise, are you saying converting like cost per lead or
Both.
just pure ROAS?
whatever your conversion event.
Yeah,
is. If it's a
both.
lead or if it's a sale.
Okay.
Because I'll say this, like cost per lead can be cheaper on TikTok, but the quality of lead isn't as good as it is on Facebook.
So at the end of the day, we're going to just be talking pure ROAS, return on ad
Yep,
spend.
Yep. So in that case, return on ad spend, Facebook is where you want to be. For
Interesting.
Sure. Yeah.
Yeah, it's crazy because I have had to, so I've never really advertised too much on TikTok, but I've had many people tell me like, yeah, dude, no, I saw you on TikTok and that's how I, got into the world. And then, like my COO, Javi, he tells that story all the time. He's like, yeah, I saw Ryan on TikTok and then I bought, the coaching and then, I was in the coaching for a couple of years. Then he hired me and
That's
here we are.
No, it's very powerful,
that's the thing, man. Like with these social media platforms, a couple of years ago, TikTok literally took everyone's market share and it became the most downloaded app in the world.
Yeah.
And Instagram got wind of that and Instagram was like, hold up, we can't be left behind. So now that's why they created Instagram Reels, is because they essentially want the same type of ecosystem that TikTok has. And that's why like now you can have a like one of our students, for instance, he's like 58 years old, never created 58 years old, never created content in his life. Comes through some of our trainings, decides, let me create this TikTok page. 3 posts into his TikTok page, he has a viral video that does 2.4 million in about 2 or 3 weeks, collects like 800 leads, does all of this stuff. But TikTok gives you the ability to do that because the way TikTok's algorithm is designed is it's designed to essentially like attract people that aren't even following you.
Yeah.
So you could be new to TikTok, you could do a video and like superstars see your video pop up on the algorithm. And obviously you know that because you were big in TikTok a couple years ago, but that's the beauty of TikTok organic as well, is just continuing to put content out there.
But it always comes down to like this idea of create content. Yes, it's great, but don't just create content just to get some likes. Because likes don't pay bills.
Yeah.
Right? Amateurs create content to grow their likes.
Yeah.
Professionals create content to grow their list. Get data.
Yeah.
Right? Get people off of these platforms.
Yeah, let's talk about that, right? Because for me, I never really cared about a list. I cared more about a following. No, and it wasn't necessarily about likes or anything, but it's just like, let's just grow my social media, my brand, all that.
Yeah.
And so, majority of our sales were direct from social media. Now I'm just strictly talking like my other business. Real estate was never... Social media is great for real estate. I've gotten a ton of investors. I have gotten deals, so I'm not saying that, but I use social media for every other business I've ever started. And what I realized was over time, these agencies were like, bro, how's your list so small? And I'm like, what list? They're like, your email list. Are you emailing anyone? I'm like, no.
Yeah.
Like, why do I need to email them? I'll just freaking make a post. And over time, I realized how important it wasn't until I met Cardone that he was like, yeah, we got 4 million on the email list and we're always getting people unsubscribe and scrubbing it and everything. But yeah, he was just like, bro, I can make one email right now and go bank.
It's everything. I think
6 figures right now.
Yes.
With the click of an email. I was like, yeah, that seems pretty valuable.
Yeah, it's super crazy. And I like to going off of the real estate example, ownership is everything.
Yeah.
Right. So you think about it like this, social media is great, but you got to remember you don't own that platform. So you don't own that audience.
Yeah.
You're renting that audience, right? So you can grow your TikTok followers and all that. And that's great. Don't get me wrong. There's power in that, but you got to remember that at any time, what happens if Instagram kicks you off?
Yeah.
What happens if TikTok gets banned in the US, right? Whatever happens. If that happens, that means all your audience is gone overnight. And if you don't have an audience, you don't have a business.
Yeah.
Period. So what you want to do is you want to start getting those people off of social media onto a list that you own.
Yeah.
Because now that's ownership.
Yeah.
You know, and if TikTok does get banned or you get shut down, you can just send everybody a text message and say, hey guys, like, you know, I got shut down yesterday. It's cool. I'm over here. Come check. And your audience can move with you. And it's like security.
Yeah.
Exactly.
In your business. And it's very, very important that
And
everybody does that.
If you look at the biggest businesses in the world, they're all doing the same thing. Like I don't know how many businesses you're subscribed to, but I know for me, Fashion Nova be hitting me up every
day,
every week. They hit me up with a new offer.
Yeah.
You know, and I know a lot of people out there, they think to themselves, well, I don't want to be annoying. Like I'll grow my list, but I don't want to be annoying and keep marketing to these people. But you have to understand, if you have a product that can change lives in some type of way, whether it's just to make them happy, whether it's to bring more revenue into their pocket, whatever it is, if you have a product that's going to make someone's life better, then it's your duty to actually take that product and promote it to people as much as possible. Because when you start thinking like that, it takes away the icky feeling of sales, how some people think about sales. It takes away that icky feeling because you're like, yo, no, I'm trying to make your life better. So I'm going to promote to you as much as possible to show you, hey, I can help you in some way.
Yeah.
And again, the biggest businesses in the world are doing it. You look around, all of these businesses are hyper focused on messaging you. And like you said, you shoot off an email, you make 100K. Shoot off a text message marketing is absolutely crazy. Like I was reading this stat and it said for every $1 businesses are spending on text marketing, on average, they're making back 71 from text marketing.
It's crazy.
And it's been, and I would agree with that because if you jump on our list, you're getting marketed to at least twice a week. We do free trainings. We do all types of cool stuff. And it helps to make money too, because people are always, I don't even know where my phone is, but they always have it on them at all times.
Yeah.
You know,
And
so
data,
it's,
man. Data is the most valuable resource in the world. It surpassed oil, right? And again, that's why I wear the hat. Success leaves clues. Look at some of these huge companies. Like for instance, Facebook bought WhatsApp. What was this, like 6-7 years ago?
Yep.
It bought WhatsApp for $19 billion. I think it is.
Yep.
$19 billion.
Yep.
Now Facebook has the best coders and developers in the world. They could have just developed another WhatsApp.
Yep.
Why didn't they? Because of the data that WhatsApp had.
Yeah.
So if these companies like Facebook, these conglomerates are doing it, they're collecting data, these small business owners need to be doing the same thing, right? Like success leaves clues. If they're doing it, they're only doing it for one reason. It's because it works, you know? So you need to be hyper focused on collecting your data and monetizing that data as much as you possibly can, because it'll change the game for your business if you use it the right way.
Yeah.
So that's what we're really big on, man, is teaching people how to do it.
Talk to us about like, what was your thought process as to why you didn't value the email list and the phone list? Like, why did you think that way?
Well, because everything was organic, right? So I would just make content. People would, opt in. And I had obviously the data. It's not like I didn't have the data, right? So they opt in. For forever, we didn't even have an opt-in page, right? It was always like, just book a call and like, if you booked a call, you opted in. But there was never an opt-in page to then get the VSL or whatever, right? So long story short, we were just, like I said, we were making great money without doing it. So I'm just like, these guys run ads and whatever. That's cool. Like I'll just keep cashing checks myself and it's all good. And we never did email marketing. I never did anything with it. So I never saw an ROI with it. Yeah. And then one day, this is actually how it started to happen. My friend Ryan Saplin, great email marketer. He's here in Vegas. We first met because he bought a Golf with Ryan day. And he was like, hey, I want to pick your brain about, this journey I'm on. And he actually might have bought a one-on-one first and then a golf. I can't remember. But anyways, he bought a couple of things. And he was an email marketer. So he's one of these behind the scenes guys that nobody ever sees. And he was running email lists at 8 figures, right? Just doing offers and affiliates.
Some of the most powerful ones are.
Yeah, just crushing it, right? And he was like, dude, I'm thinking about doing content, doing a personal brand, all this stuff. And, we just talked about it and stuff and it was fine. Then after like a year of knowing each other, he was like, dude, let me at least run your emails for you. And he helped sell me on the idea because he was like, dude, think of emails as just another form of content. Like they're just content. You post on TikTok, you post on Facebook, you post on Instagram, like email's just content again. He's like, I'll write the emails, I'll do the stuff, and then, pay me a retainer and a profit split on what the emails sell. I'm like, all right, whatever. And then, sure enough, I do start to see revenue come in through it. I'm like, okay, like, I guess since I've built this thing up, like we might as well use it. So he did that for me for about a year. And, now we have everything in house, but like, it just made me realize like, okay, this, like you're building it anyway. But I do agree with your point that if I ever got banned or something, what do I do?
What do you
do? But even if you don't get banned, imagine coupling the two. Imagine being a great content creator and having all of these followers, but then using your content, and at the end of your content, having a call to action to get people off of social media. Use that link in your bio as a bridge to get them into your world, and then begin email marketing to them and text marketing to them. Now you're making money from social media, and you're making money off of social media, and that'll explode
That's
a brand.
Big part of content creation too, is having a call to action. As many of those videos as you can, because the thing is, and I'm sure you know this, you never know what video is going to go viral. You never know.
But we have call to actions and everything. So
everything.
You know what we're actually doing now is a text hotline. So I just launched this week, actually.
Nice.
So I learned this from Andy Elliott. They've generated so many leads from Andy just being like, every YouTube video he says, dude, text me, guys.
Yes.
Whatever you need, I might answer it. My team might answer it. We'll help you out. We'll send you free stuff. We'll send you, you want to talk about the different programs, we got you. So I just changed my CTAs to that. So by the way, if anyone wants to text me, the number is super easy. 725-444-5244. So I like went through the Twilio. I'm like, that's the number. That's a good one.
Something easy, right?
Yeah, I can remember that. So yesterday I launched it. I said, hey guys, I'm giving away a contractor's guide, 40 pages, the exact schemes and everything we use on every house flip. Just text me to get it.
Yes.
Right. Literally text like instantly, all these people texting. Right. And then, it's like, hey, what do you got going on? And it turns into a sales call, but they also still get value and everything else. So like they send them the guide. They're like, dude, this is great. Like, what else you got? Right?
Any business needs to do this too. I don't care what you do. Real estate.
Lead with value. Here's the guide. You want to text? Here's the guide. And if you want more, right? Because we'll get people that text us. They'll be like, hey, can I get the contractor's guide? And we'll be like, sure. Like, what are you doing right now flip-wise? And they're like, oh, well, I've never done a deal. It's like, well, what is this contractor's guide going to do for you? You don't have a deal.
Exactly.
And they're like, oh, yeah. And you're like, so.
And you got a different offer for that.
Well, yeah. Like, do you want to learn how to find deals to actually use the guide? Do you want to learn how to buy houses without using your own money? Well, yeah, because this guide's useless to you right now unless you do those. But then we'll get people who are like, no, dude, I'm flipping houses. Like, this guide's going to be, oh, awesome, dude.
Yes.
Here's the guide. If you want to scale, we can help you with that.
Yeah. And that's why it's so important to have multiple offers, because an offer you don't make is an offer you can't take. Right. And that's what our mentor Myron always says. And it's very important because there's some people that might come into your pipeline that need different things. So if you only have one offer to give someone, you're in trouble. But that goes into the importance of having a lead magnet, right? And for new business owners out here, or even established business owners, you'd be surprised. A lot of them don't have lead magnets set up. And one of the biggest mistakes that business owners make when creating a lead magnet or giving away a free offer is that they go very skimpy on the offer. Right? Like they don't give away their best stuff. Like they hold back. They're like, no, I got this right here. This is going to be a banger, but I'll just give them my little throwaway stuff for free. And a lot of businesses do that. They give away the non-valuable stuff, but they're not taking into account that first impressions are everything.
Oh yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
100%. Like dude, this contractor's guide, I could sell for $500.
That's the thing. If you can't sell it for a good amount, you shouldn't be giving it away.
Bro, it's 40 pages. I literally have flipped, I call it my $100 million guide because I've flipped over $100 million of homes with this guide.
Crazy.
Tell me what guide is more proven than what I'm about to give you. That literally you would hand it to your contractor and they would be able to look at the lights that you want to use, the paint color, the flooring.
Wow.
It's that good.
That's super detailed.
I might need it.
I might. It's 40 pages.
I'm going to text you right now.
725-444-5244. Okay.
And that's very important for, the business owners listening to the pod today. Like, you have to lead with value. You know, you have to give away your best stuff, because what happens is people are always going to have more questions.
Yep.
You know, but if you give away like the non-valuable stuff, they're going to download it. They're not going to get any value, and then they're going to erase anything having to do with you, and they're not even going to interact.
You want to know an easy way to know if you have a good offer or not? We have a natural built-in compass inside of us.
Yeah.
And it's our intuition, right? And basically it's like this. If it don't make you nervous, it's not going to make them excited.
Yep.
That's an easy way to think about it.
Right.
If you're thinking about giving away this thing and it doesn't make you get that feeling of like, oh, damn, should I really give this away? Then that's not good enough.
No.
Yeah.
Because if you give away something janky like a t-shirt or a pin, like nobody wants that. I have too many shirts already,
Yeah.
right? But if you give away free clothes for a whole entire year, now wait a minute. That's kind of crazy. I might need it.
Or, hey, I'm going to make you a custom shirt with your logo on it.
Exactly.
You're like, whoa.
Exactly.
Something that's like, this is borderline crazy for me to give away. I guarantee you, if you do that, your conversions will go through the roof.
Yeah.
Yep.
And you're collecting data. Now you're doing what big businesses do.
Yeah.
You know?
We're about to launch a ton of low ticket funnels. So once again, low ticket, some I never did. Everything was 10 grand minimum.
Yeah.
And now we're launching, you know, things like that contractor's guide are free.
Yeah.
Right. But then guess what? If you download it, you know, we'll have an upsell for $20 and you can get this freaking course I used to sell for $1,000. Like, you know, just crazy things like that. Where it's like, dude, this is crazy how much value I'm getting for $20.
Exactly.
It's like, their other stuff gotta be crazy.
Yep.
You know?
That's the mindset right there.
Exactly.
Because if it's like, dang, if he's giving me this for 20, I can only imagine what his 10 grand thing is.
But here's what I learned from Cardone and this guy Wojo who I had on. So when you do that, right? Because right now I run ads for, you know, just people, they can learn about WealthCon or book a call or whatever, right? And so you're always in the hole until you sell. With the low ticket funnel, you could potentially get all the leads for free.
Yeah, you break even. Yeah.
Yeah, like, dude, if I have great enough products and, you know, we test things, it's like, bro, I might spend 100 grand, but we'll sell 100 grand worth of whatever the thing is.
Offer.
Yeah. And then I'm like, all those leads were free?
Yeah.
Yep.
That's how you build a list for free.
Self-liquidating. But you know what I was thinking the other day, as we were talking about, because we did our pod and we were talking about the Super Bowl, it hit me and I was like, yo, the Super Bowl halftime show, that's the world's biggest lead magnet, if you really think about it.
Yeah.
Because the artists don't get paid.
They pay.
They pay they pay on the front end.
The artist has to pay. Well, they do it for free. Plus, they have to pay for all the stuff.
Yep.
Yeah.
So I remember, I think Rihanna paid like $6 million or something, or Dr. Dre for a couple of years ago. They paid like $6 to $10 million to produce
Staff everybody.
the show. They didn't get paid $1.
They get paid with something even better.
Oh, well,
Exactly.
yeah. No,
You know what I mean?
for sure. They don't do it out of the goodness of their heart. They're getting paid.
No, that's the world's biggest lead magnet, because they're doing it for free. They might take an L on the front end.
Oh, for sure. But they're going to kill it.
They understand on the back end. Like, I was looking at this graph and it's like, you know, artists have doubled their album sales the next week following the Super Bowl, you know, but that's how businesses need to start thinking about it.
Followers, sales,
Absolutely.
everything. Merch.
I'm projecting that this is going to be Usher's biggest album.
Really?
sales.
You think that?
I think it's going to trump Confessions.
What?
Because he's never
I don't
been
know,
in front of
bro.
an audience this big.
That's
at
true.
You
one
guys
time.
used to be musicians.
Yes.
So that's
Yeah.
your world.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
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 It's
What was your brand? What was your name again?
the Spacesuit Junkies.
Yes,
you guys
sir.
been together for 15 years.
Yes, sir.
15
Been
years,
rocking,
bro.
man.
Starting off as the Spacesuit Junkies.
That's how we got into marketing in general, man.
Yeah.
We were just, we were up in Atlanta and we were typical broke music artists.
Did you know T.I.?
No.
Didn't know T.I. We saw
Dude, that was
T.I.
my,
once
that was my
at a-
favorite guy
Really?
growing up.
We saw T.I. at a restaurant. It's funny. I'll never
Yeah.
forget this. We saw him at a restaurant and he was walking by and T.I. said to him, yo, bro, you look like Steph Curry, bro. So that was pretty funny.
Nah,
man.
he was like, "What up, Steph?" And I knew exactly what he meant. I was like, "What up, bro?" Just
That's
gotta play
funny.
with it.
He gets that
A
all the
lighter
time.
skin Steph.
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
yeah. So-
Exactly.
Our whole thing was, man, we were broke music artists and we just wanted to be able to fund our career.
Yeah.
Because we were just tanking. So we were like, hey, let's just start an e-commerce store. Let's fund our video shoots and all this kind of stuff. So we're not going in the hole.
Yep.
And long story, after he told, what ended up happening is we ended up doing $250,000 in sales in about 7 months on our first drop shipping store.
Yeah.
And we were like, wait a minute, bro, we're pretty good at this.
Yeah.
Let's keep going. So we ended up selling that store on Shopify Exchange as well.
Yep. Gotten
into other things. And now it's just been.
But it's funny though, even when we were music artists, once we discovered ads, we started using that in our music. We actually, we were unknown in Atlanta, by the way. And our style of music was like R&B, hip hop, EDM vibe.
Yeah.
That's not big in Atlanta. There's not a big audience for that.
But EDM stuff ain't.
The R&B, hip hop, yes. But what we ended up doing was we were like, yo, let's just throw our own event. Let's test this out. And let's just really see if this Facebook ad thing can work for like other industries.
Right.
So we throw this event. It's a private event. And we end up selling over 100 tickets, all from ads. And that's what really made me a believer that, yo, this can really work for any industry. As long as you're not selling like cannabis or certain X-rated things. Like other than that, you can run an ad. If you have the right strategy.
Yeah, you can win.
You can go crazy.
Yeah. What's your guys' thoughts on having good organic content though with ads today?
I think it's huge. I think it's a great compliment, right? Yeah. You got to have content. There's actually a lot of amazing reasons why you should post free content. And I just learned this actually from Alex Hormozy's book, $100 Million Leads, I think it was. He brought up a good point. When so your free content will actually help your paid content as well. And what I mean by that is people who buy your high ticket stuff, yes, they consume your high ticket stuff, but they also consume your free stuff.
Yes.
So when they go off and they'll watch your, courses and all that stuff, but they're also following you on social media. So if you're dropping some game on social media and then for free, they go off and run that play. Well, they're going to attribute that success to being a part of your mentorship program. Mm-hmm. And that was a huge light bulb for me. I was like, man, because I always kind of struggle with that question. I'm glad you asked that because, like, why am I posting all this content? Like, sometimes it's hard to really see, And that's one of the things we say is it's hard to track, but it's easy to see.
Yeah.
When it comes to posting content, it's hard to track which video actually made people push the button, which one pushed them over the edge. Mm-hmm. But it's easy to see. Yeah. If you post content regularly, it helps everything else that you're doing.
Yeah.
It helps your webinars convert better. It helps your challenges convert better. It helps your email marketing. It helps.
Yeah.
It's like
the reason I ask is because I've had so many ads guys come on and they all have come to the same conclusion. Like in today's world, ads they're tough. It's way different than they were 5 years ago.
Yeah,
right?
Yeah,
and they're all basically like, you have to have some kind of content to point them to. Cause if you're just like a ghost and you try to run ads, it ain't gonna happen.
It don't work, man. There's something called the 7-hour rule. Have you read the book? I think might have been Daniel Presley, undersubscribed.
I haven't read it.
Oversubscribed,
but I believe in the 7-hour rule.
Okay, and that's what I was getting at. Is like, for those of y'all listening, it takes at least 7 hours of someone consuming your content for them to make a buying decision.
Yeah.
And here's the thing. Someone might consume an hour of your content and want more, but if you're not creating enough content for them to consume the 7 hours, they're going to go to someone else to consume the other 6 hours necessary for them to actually buy something.
Yeah, because they're going to watch something about ads and then they're like, all right, well, what else do these guys know?
Right.
Mm-hmm. They don't have anything else? Mm-hmm. All right. Well, where can I still got to learn ads.
Yeah.
Who am I going to learn it from?
Exactly.
You might be the lead in and somebody else will capitalize.
Yes.
Yeah. No, I'm with you on that because I had that realization after this is my 5th year, going into my 5th year doing content. And it occurred to me as I watched the algorithms, I was like, okay, the platforms are incentivized by watch time. That's like literally, they just want to keep you on the platform. So what's the best way to get more watch time? Have longer videos, right? And so as I started to just really grow this podcast, they started becoming longer and longer because I got to get more in depth in the conversation, but also it's good for the algorithm.
Definitely.
They like more watch time and it helps get that 7 hours because, man, dude, I can't tell you how many people tell me bro, I saw that episode, this episode, that episode, this episode. And I look at the data, last year we had 1.2 million hours of watch time.
Jeez.
So you think about that, right? Okay, so let's take 1.2 1.2 million divided by 7 hours. Like that'll tell me, potentially how many buyers there are, right? That's 170,000, buyers. If that's, what I'm saying? But in terms of years, this is how I do it. 1.2 million, there's 24 hours in a day divided by 365. That's 140 years of content consumed.
Wow. That says something though, because you're making a lot of money, you're operating at a high level, and that just goes to show you that if you're afraid to put yourself out there, you need to start doing it anyway, because this is how you make money. Like some of our biggest students, one of our students, her name's Krista. She did a little over 2 million last year. Mm-hmm. And one of the biggest driving forces for her, well, a couple of driving forces, Facebook ads, but then she's also live selling.
Yeah.
Right. So the thing with lives, the reason why we love doing lives is because it literally removes that barrier of distrust that people have naturally when they first get introduced to you, whether it's from an ad or whether they see a piece of content. It removes that barrier of distrust, because what you're doing now is you're showcasing your personality, which is going to repel certain people and it's going to attract certain people.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? You're also showcasing your knowledge.
Yeah.
Right. So you're able to begin teaching people and educating people on whatever you're good at.
Yeah.
The combination of those things, in my opinion, can propel any business if you do it more consistently.
Yeah, but a lot of people, they're really nervous about going live, right? A lot of people are insecure about getting in front of the camera.
Yes.
Doesn't even matter if it's live.
It doesn't, though.
Literally just in front of the camera at all.
Yeah, yeah.
And I always tell people, like, if that's the case, then that's a clear indication you're focusing on the wrong person.
Yeah.
Right? Because in life, we only have so much energy to give to the world. Like we only have so much. So if you're focusing all your attention on yourself, then you have no more energy to give back to your audience.
Right.
And remember, your content is not for you. You already know this stuff.
Yeah.
It's for your audience.
I'm on a journey of self-discovery. I'm just,
But it's cool. But if you flip that though and say, okay, well, if you just focus all your attention on just serving your audience, and giving them as much as you possibly can, well, guess what? You have no more attention to give back to your insecurities.
Facts.
yeah.
So anyone who's listening,
Yeah, I think most people, and I agree with you, most people that are very insecure, I mean, the only way you could be insecure is if you're worried about yourself.
Yes.
You're just thinking, what is everyone thinking about
Yes.
me? It's a selfish mindset, whether you realize it or not, right?
is.
But yeah, when you get away from yourself, you're like, I don't really care what people think about me. I'm going to go out and do what I do and help people and whatever. Then yeah, you stop caring.
And here's the thing: people aren't worried about what you're wearing. In most cases, they're not worried.
They're not what they're wearing.
Exactly.
Yeah.
They're not worried that you got a booger in your
selfish.
nose. Exactly. And I think that's just a big misconception that can honestly frighten the heck out of you. Is if you're like, oh my gosh, what do I look like? You know what I'm
Even
saying?
more importantly, it's blocking your blessings,
Yes.
blocking your family's blessings.
Yeah.
Because you're not putting yourself out there, and you're not reaching your full potential because you're so worried about what someone thinks that doesn't even know who you are, ain't paying your bills.
Yep.
It's so stupid on so many fronts, but we've got to learn how to get out of our own
Get
way.
past it.
I agree.
Yeah.
What did you do, man? Because you've rocked big stages.
You
and
went
stuff
from
like
baseball to creating content. How was that transition?
Yeah, bro.
Well, I went from baseball to real estate, then creating content.
Well, yeah.
But well, dude, I think baseball and content go hand in hand. They're both entertainment. So like I've played in front of 10,000 people live,
True.
like face to face, not
That's very true.
I can't not see the people viewing me.
I thought
So
about that.
yeah, like
That's good.
rocking a stage of 1,000s, whatever.
yeah.
That's
So I was already kind of like primed for it.
Same thing with us, like being on stage performing.
Yeah.
You know,
You're used to people watching you and booing, and I get booed, like, right. You suck. You just made an error. You struck out. You cost us the game.
yeah.
Like they're invested in it. If my video sucks, people just tell me, dude, your video sucks.
Right.
Yeah.
But if I play for the team that you are rooting for and I cost us the game, you're like, I hate you.
Yeah.
But honestly, that's like the worst thing that could happen. And this is what I tell content creators.
Oh
and
yeah.
people
But
that
then they're also like, dude, we love you. You're the best.
Exactly.
Right.
And,
Yeah.
that's like the worst thing that could happen. And that's why like we tell people, yo, put yourself out there. Don't be afraid to do it, because the worst thing that could happen is if it fails, you might get embarrassed. Right.
Yeah.
But if you think about how it was thousands of years ago, we were worried about getting chased by bears and eating. You know what I'm saying? Like one wrong decision could end your life. Right? If you make a wrong decision now and create the wrong type of content, the worst that's going to happen
you're embarrassed for a minute.
And that's it.
And that's how soft society is becoming, right?
Yeah.
We're getting soft.
Oh, well, I could go all day about being soft. You know what's funny is I've never told this story. So this was in 2012. I was playing for the Stockton Ports. By the way, Stockton is a scary place.
Where is Stockton?
It's in NorCal.
Okay.
It's one of the top, let's say, 3 most dangerous cities in America.
Yikes.
We got robbed multiple times. I'm dead serious. So anyways, we're in Stockton and I'm in the Oakland A's farm system. So Ricky Henderson is coaching us for a series. So for those who don't know, Ricky Henderson is he's the greatest base stealer of all time. Dude's a Hall of Famer. He was also known for just being very over the top and big personality. And, I made an error that game and then I had a fan yelling. They're like, "You suck. I could have fielded that ball. Freaking whatever, dude. Right. Why is this guy on the field? Jeez. I could do what this guy's doing, whatever," right? Ricky gets out of the dugout, dude, and yells and airs out this dude. He's like, "Oh, yeah? Then why'd you pay for a ticket to watch him?"
Right.
"If you so good, we'd be paying you, but you paid to be here." And I was like, all right.
Burnt him.
I like that.
Burnt him.
Oh, and what's funny is the next day he apologized. So the fan came up to me during batting practice. He's like, "Bro, I just want to say I'm sorry."
Wow.
Yo.
And I've never told that story before, but it made me think of it.
Yeah, internet. Think of that's the equivalent of a troll on the internet, which you always get. And I'm sure the bigger you get.
Oh, the moment somebody calls you out for being a troll face to face, you ain't a troll no more.
Oh, you ain't a troll. We call it e-thuggery, right? They're on the internet. They're on the internet and they're talking all this smack,
Twitter
and then you get in front of them and it's a whole different. No, that wasn't me, man.
Yeah,
that wasn't me. That was the Facebook me. I'll talk smack to you all day on Facebook.
You gotta have them though. Honestly, you should lean into it.
Yeah.
If you don't have haters, you're not doing nothing.
Yeah.
Period.
No, it just comes with it, right?
It comes with it.
Right. You can't be criticized for making an error if you ain't on the team.
Yeah.
So
100.
That's okay.
Yeah. Man.
I want to talk about challenges, but you mentioned that student. What's your guys' community called?
Rich from Anywhere. So
where can people find that?
You go to Instagram at Rich from Anywhere. You can find us there. That's where you can get information on everything. richfromanywhere.com.
Learning how to run your ads and everything else.
Yep.
Okay.
All of that. We do live trainings weekly. It might be Facebook ads. It might be how to grow your list. It could be.
You guys just go live on IG?
No, we do webinars.
Okay. All right. So they sign up for a webinar, then you'll do a live training every week. Okay.
Every week. Text, hop on, and we just melt your face off for an hour.
Got it.
Yep. So
with these trainings and stuff, I've heard you talk about running challenges to grow your list. So what is that all about?
So yeah, man, so our challenge is called the Grow Your List Challenge.
Okay.
Right. And the whole goal, because we've been talking about growing your list and how important it is. The whole goal is to take a business owner who might have had the old mindset that you had where lists aren't important. I'll focus on social media. They might have that mindset. The whole goal is to get you in to essentially build you out an entire system that's going to generate you massive amounts of leads.
Yeah.
Right. And we do it with you. So I know some people hear the term lead magnet and they get intimidated. That includes a landing page and I got to come up with a product and all this stuff. But what we do is we teach you how to do it the right way. Because, psychologically, there's certain words that you should say and shouldn't say. There's certain ways that you can attract more leads psychologically. So if you don't know that, first and foremost, you're going to struggle with collecting leads. But on top of that, you have to have a landing page set up to actually generate the leads and get them in. And you have to have certain words on the landing page. And, there's all these different things that go into actually creating a list. So during these 3 days, what we do is we take you from ground zero to, by the end of the challenge, having a solid lead generating machine able to start generating you leads. And like I said, we help you the whole time. I think one of
Is the challenge paid, free? How much is it?
It's paid. It's $97.
$97 for 3 days to learn how to do that.
It's insane.
Yeah,
that's a great deal.
It's the ridiculous amount of value in 3 days.
It is, man.
We've been doing this now for 7-8 years, learning all this stuff, and we're basically just disseminating and packing down everything
into 3 days.
Yeah. And the reason why we came up with it is we were sitting down one day and we were talking if there was one thing that we could teach a business owner, just one thing, and I'll actually ask you this question too, that could help them make the most money and excel and grow their business the most, we realized, at least from our experience, it was growing a list. Because if we had that list, it supercharges everything that you do.
Yeah.
If you want to go live, you want to have a physical event, you want to promote products, having a list can help you blow up all those things.
Yes. Yep.
So why don't we just stop worrying about all this crap that's not important, and let's focus all our energy on the most important things, the needle moving activities.
Yeah.
And so that people can grow their business. And dude, we've done like 16, 17 challenges at this point. And the transitions and the transformations we're seeing is insane.
And it wasn't always like that, because this is, again, like, in the game of marketing and in the game of being an entrepreneur, you're not always going to get it right the first time. So the first time that we actually did our challenge, it was completely different. And we did 2 of those and we realized, like, this is getting a transformation, but it's very broad. We were doing ads, we were doing a bunch of different things on the challenge. So we realized, let's hone it in. And like he said, we had that conversation and realized, lead generation is the driver of everything. It's like the lifeblood of your business. If you don't have the leads, then it's hard for you to make money. It's going to be very hard for you to make money. But once you have them, it's literally
no matter what level you're at either. It doesn't matter if you're a beginner or if you're doing $250,000 a month. It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
You know?
You need leads.
You need leads, and you need more leads. Yeah. You need more automated ways to do it. That's the thing, is you're going to level up. Like, you might have a decent way of getting leads right now, but trust me, there's always a better way.
Yeah,
absolutely.
You know, and you got to seek counsel to learn those ways. The idea is probably not just going to get downloaded into your brain, most likely. You need to surround yourself with people who already have the strategies. You know? If you want to do it the smart way, the fast way.
So if people want to sign up for that, where do they go?
You can go to richfromanywhere.com/GYLC.
GYLC.
Yep.
Grow your list
challenge.
Yep.
Challenge. There you go. GYLC.
Absolutely, man.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, it's insane.
It's like, and you can, when you go to the page, you can see a bunch of testimonials on the page from people that have attended, and there's people literally saying, y'all blew my face off. Like, this is crazy. Like, literally like that, you know? So, it's a great way to get in. And one thing that I like about us is that we really do care about our students.
Yeah.
So we're in there with you. Like, it's 2 hours a day, but it's not just 2 hours a day. We're inside of the Facebook group, helping you, sharing screen, like, hands on, you know?
And I'll tell you, like, obviously I haven't been inside your challenges or, your program or anything, but like, for me anyways, when I have guys on the podcast, I don't just let anyone come on. You know what I'm saying? Like, I've seen you guys around. I've seen you guys showing up to things like WealthCon, helping people, like, good vibes. And so, at the end of the day, right? Like, for me, it's like, hey, for $97, hard to lose. Like, just
really is.
Go see what's up.
And we have a money back guarantee.
Oh, well, there you go. You can't lose.
Like, literally,
well, there you go.
You can't lose. Like, and if you look at the 3 days and you didn't learn anything and it wasn't worth it, dude, just email us. We'll give you your money back.
There you go.
You know what I mean? So we like to make it risk free for people. You know,
there you go.
We understand how it is. Like, there's a lot of people out here that are teaching things and doing all these things, but you got to check receipts.
Yep.
People are talking about, they're helping people do this and that. Dude, go check receipts.
Yeah.
Because a lot of these people are lying. And then if they aren't lying,
name all the people lying. No, I'm just kidding.
Let's go into it.
You can turn into Cat Williams and start calling people out. You.
Hey, liar. You can do that. And then if you do get into the program, it's like, you need support and there's no one there. It's like a ghost town.
Yeah.
And I feel like that's a really big part of, a mentorship program is like, man, you got to have the support. And that's one thing, with us, when we first started our e-commerce store and we hired our first mentor, he told us the right way to run ads.
Yeah.
So, because he didn't really go into this, but we spent $5,000 on ads, made 0 sales. 3 months of running ads.
Yeah.
We hired a coach, told us the right way to do it, and we made a sale in 8 hours. That changed the game for us. So what we learned,
you should have just got him from the jump.
Exactly.
Yeah, you would have saved $5,000.
Yeah.
But you don't know, because in the beginning,
you don't know what you don't know.
Like, we always think it's the cheap way. Like, let's go, but the cheap way.
What I'll say is, I do think people should learn how to run their own ads. I did not think it was a skill worth learning for a long time. For me, mainly because I was already at a high level, having made millions without it. Right. And I'm like, dude, this guy's going to do it for $5,000. I'll just pass it off.
Yeah.
And now I'm back, many millions later, realizing I need to learn how to do this.
But a lot of high level entrepreneurs like yourself don't realize how much money they're actually leaving on the table.
Trust me. That's why I'm interviewing all these guys.
Yeah, no, that goes to show you. You're a high level entrepreneur making millions and millions of dollars, but you still understand the value in Facebook ads, and you're making money with Facebook ads. So would you say you're making more money this year because of ads than you did last year without running ads?
Well, I'm still new to it, so the results still remain to be seen.
I got you.
I've only been doing it for a couple of months now.
Okay.
So yeah, and we're, like I said, we're switching everything. So I've switched CRMs. We're switching how we sell product. Like I'm literally revamping all of it. I've changed the sales teams, but
Gotcha.
The results, and like what I'm seeing, I believe it's going to be huge. But
And what about for WealthCon? So you're the team's running the ads for WealthCon as well, and this is going to be the biggest WealthCon to date.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And that's all from ads that you're running, not an agency.
Correct.
Like you're doing it.
We got our best ROAS last WealthCon ever with me running them. So I like where our results will be at the next one.
That's the thing. If you have the right system to run ads, like it doesn't matter where you're at in your business, it can level up everything that you do and make you a lot more money.
It's not hard and it's not difficult. Anyone who's listening, it's not difficult. The only reason.
No, I will attest to that. I thought it was much harder than it actually is. Facebook makes so much money because they've made it easy.
Yes.
Yeah. As long as you have a system, you have some guidance too. I think that's important.
Yeah.
Right. As you're running them, you want to have someone looking over your shoulder and say, hey, this is kind of going the other way. You need to switch this, do this.
Yeah.
That right there is invaluable. It will save you so much time and so much money.
Yep.
But the subject matter is not difficult. What people's problem is the studying method is wrong. Right? They're studying by watching 100,000 YouTube videos.
Yeah.
And trying to piece information together.
Yeah. I'll say,
you know what I mean?
Thankfully for me, I've got this podcast. And so I've literally had the best in the world.
Yeah.
Just come literally train my team. Because I still know, because you're like, hey, you're not doing manual bids. I'm already going to say, hey, let's take a walk.
Yeah.
We're going to go tell them about that. But, it's just like, that's exactly how I train still to this day.
Right.
I'm like, I'm lucky in that I can just bring the best to me.
Right.
Yeah.
And then.
Well, not everyone's Ryan.
Exactly. No, but I'm just saying, even today, I still do it.
Yeah.
Right. Do I go watch 100 YouTube videos to figure this thing out? No, I'm like,
no.
You know what? I'm going to call up the best people I know. I'm going to bring them here. I'm going to give them a ton of value. I'm going to give them exposure. I'm going to go, do all these things, and I'm going to learn also. Right. And it's going to be great.
Because you understand that time is infinitely more valuable than money.
Oh yeah.
Right. And that's one of our mentors told us this is like, if you want to scale your brand, never ever spend time trying to save money. You always spend money so you can save time.
Facts.
Yeah.
Always. And if you do
you don't pick up the pennies.
Right.
No, it costs you more money just picking up the penny.
Well, more energy too. More energy,
absolutely.
time, money. It all is related.
Because time is infinitely valuable and money is valuable, but it's way lower.
Yeah,
so it's like, why would I ever trade this for this?
Yeah.
That's like trading $1 million to get $100 back.
Yeah.
It doesn't make any sense. But the thing is, it's unfortunate, but you don't really understand that until you're at a certain level. Because when you're first starting your business, it's always about how can I just save money, do everything the cheap way. And I understand that grind, but if I could ever impart wisdom back on myself, I would do it. I would spend way less time and I would just pay people to teach me.
But you know what it is too? People have an ease of remembering and difficulty imagining. So a lot of times, and this is human nature, by the way, there's been studies on this. A lot of times human beings are so married to their past. They're so married to their past habits. They're so married to their ways of thinking. They're married to all of their past selves. But it's very difficult for them to imagine themselves in the position of a Ryan Pineda. You know what I'm saying? It's very difficult. And because of that, they're married to their cheap ways. They don't want to invest in mentorships. They don't want to do these things. And in turn, their old way turns into the new way, and it continues to happen year after year after year because they're stubborn and they're not willing to grow. You know what I'm saying?
No, I'm with you.
It's very important to get around high level entrepreneurs who are doing it at a high level so that you can understand. I'll tell you what, when we attended WealthCon in January, I imparted so many things within our business. We were like, internally, there's things that we need to change in our business. Because just looking at the way that you
saw
operate,
me doing it.
Yes. And that was just off of hearing you talk and, hearing your team talk and seeing how you have your operation set up. Like on the back end, we have some things that we want to do better at. As far as our internal team, our Rich from Anywhere team.
Yeah, but you can't do that if you're not in the room.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You got to get around the people.
Yeah.
You know? Because you are the average of the 5 people you hang around and your birds of a feather flock together. All these things that you hear, they're cliches, but they're true.
Yep.
And it's like, dude, that's the biggest hack. If I could ever give someone one piece of advice, it's find an environment of people who are already doing the things that you want to do and just get around them.
Yeah.
Do anything you can. If you got to barter your services, do that. If you got to pay, do that.
Yeah.
Because trust me, if you get around those people, right? It's like the law of attraction, right? Your frequency and your energy is going to naturally raise up to those people, even if without even trying.
Yeah.
Bro, I'll tell you what, man, like it changed for us last year. And this is speaking to what he just said, right? Last year, we had our first 100K day. We made $100,000 in a day, right? From the challenge model.
Yeah.
And a year prior to that, if you would have told me we would have made that type of money that
like,
quickly,
whoa.
I'd have been like, yo, what? How? Like, what did y'all do?
Right.
But the thing that we did was we got around other high level entrepreneurs who were doing, you know, somebody had a $7 million day, $5 million day, $9 million day. But then seeing them do that made it real in our head. Although we hadn't seen that for ourselves, we see, okay, they did it and they ain't no better than me.
Yeah, because we all have this idea of like when we see people that are like celebrities and stuff, like we think that they're like superheroes.
They're all illustrious
they
and they got bulletproof armor. And
chromosome that just we don't have.
Yep.
But then when you get in the room, you're like, oh,
The normal people.
it's a regular dude just like me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
that gives you the confidence to like go out there and do it yourself. And I think that's why like communities are big, like inner circles are big, because you can now see these people and understand, oh, they talk just like me. They have the same internal conflicts and things. So that gives me the confidence that I can do it.
I love it.
You know?
And make sure you guys let people know I'm still a superhero though. Okay. So no, but guys, hey, it's been a blast having you on. I appreciate you guys coming out, man.
Appreciate you, man.
Sharing some wisdom on, I don't think we've ever done like truly how to do an ad from start to finish. So I think it's super valuable today for anybody. And we'll link to all you guys' stuff down below. And everyone else, make sure you're subscribed and we'll catch you on the next one. Peace.
Hey guys, hope you enjoyed that last video. It is extremely important for you to understand this concept, okay? I was talking with a friend the other day and we were talking about talented athletes versus non-talented athletes. And we got into this huge debate about it. And I said to him, I said, yo, bro, like think about it. We are literally living in the best time in history to be an entrepreneur, number one, but also be extremely prolific, even if you lack the talent to do so. Now, even in sports, if you think about sports, one of the common things that all these commentators and sports personalities say is today's athlete is way more talented than the athletes of the 60s and the 70s and the 80s. That's one of the biggest arguments that I hear people say. And I'll push back on that. And I will say that is not necessarily the case. There are people from back then that were equally as talented as the individuals right now. But you want to know what the difference is between the athlete of today and the athlete of the 50s and 60s? It's actually very simple. The biggest difference between those two athletes is purpose. Okay? It's purpose. What I mean by that is this. If you look at athletes from the 60s, in the 70s, yes, they did have a particular purpose. They did have a goal that they were trying to achieve. But the goal they were trying to achieve was only to reach the bar of success laid out by the people that existed before them. That's the only thing that they could aim for. They couldn't reach any higher than that. There was only a certain bar that was set. So in their eyes, they felt like, okay, if I can achieve this bar of success and maybe achieve a little bit more than that, I'm good. I'm the greatest of all time. The reason why people don't see them as talented is because they weren't as prolific as the athletes of today. The athletes of today are way more prolific. You could look at the stats. They're way more prolific today simply because the bar that their predecessor set for them was a lot higher than the bar that was set for the athletes that existed in the 60s and the 70s. So because of that, they had a greater purpose. The athletes of today have a greater purpose. They have more lofty goals than people that existed before. And that's simply because the bar each generation continues to be raised higher and higher and higher. So all they have to do now is leverage their belief that they can do the thing because they've seen someone before them do it. And that's how you achieve being prolific. Now, if we flip that to entrepreneurship, the same thing exists. I'll argue that this is the best time in life, in the history of the world, to be an entrepreneur, regardless of your talent. And the reason why is because if you just look at the foundation that has been laid before, if you look at that bar that has been set, if you look at the things that other people have done, all you have to do is work off of the backs of someone else's work in order for you to be successful. And it's even better nowadays because now we live in an online society. Now we have ChatGPT. Now we have automation that we can use to become the most prolific entrepreneurs in history. In this time that we're living in right now, there's more billionaires than at any other time in the history of the world. And the reason why is because of what I just said. We have a higher purpose. We have a higher purpose. But on the flip side of that, if we don't have the right types of role models and the right types of people that we're looking up to, then we will never achieve that level of greatness that we want to achieve in our business. So it is very important for everyone that's listening to me speak right now. You have to find those individuals that are going to elevate you, that have set a bar so high, but have also set the belief for you to hit that bar. You have to leverage that. You have to leverage that belief. You have to leverage that skill set. And when you do that is when you will become the most prolific version of yourself, y'all. It is very important, all right? So aim for a higher purpose. Set the bar high for yourself. Hang around people who set high bars for themselves, for you to go after and for you to achieve. And when you do that, you will experience the success you want in your business, y'all. Now, with that being said, let's get into the next video.
I'm still in shock at the numbers that we've been able to produce. I mean, getting 300 new leads just in the past month and seeing opt-in rates for our Facebook ads of up to 50% is incredible. Stevie, just wanted to give you a quick shout out and acknowledge you for your mentorship, your support, and your exceptional guidance, especially in the past few months that we've been working together. One of the best things that I've honestly done for my business is working with you and the rest of the RFA team. And I'm still in shock at the numbers that we've been able to produce. I mean, getting 300 new leads just in the past month and seeing opt-in rates for our Facebook ads of up to 50% is incredible. And I honestly don't think that I would have been able to do that without you guys. So I just wanted to express my gratitude and say thank you again for allowing me the opportunity to work with you guys. And for anyone out there that is on the fence and thinking about working with RFA, do it. It's going to be literally one of the best things that you'll do for yourself, for your business, for your future. And so you will not regret it. If you're thinking about it, literally Nike it, just do it.
I have a confession to make. Our success in business is not just the result of our organic social media strategies. That's right, for over a decade now, my mom and myself have both used paid advertising to help grow our channels and our businesses. Sorry for being so dramatic. Hopefully this doesn't come as too much of a shock to anyone. You've probably seen some of the ads that we run already, so this probably wasn't a surprise, but it's something that we don't talk about that often. And it's something that we don't talk about not because we're ashamed of using paid advertising, but just because, admittedly, I'm not an expert when it comes to running ads on Facebook or Google or any other social network for that matter. And neither is my mom, Shalene. We have learned a lot over the last few years. We've interviewed numerous experts. We've worked with agencies and different media buyers and ads managers, but it's not our expertise. It's not what we are best at. There are a lot of strategies that apply to organic social media marketing that also apply to paid advertising, but it's just not my forte. It's not my bread and butter. However, with all of that being said, I recognize its power. I believe that for your brand or business to reach its highest potential, it requires not just organic social media, but also paid advertising. And that's why I'm really excited that in today's episode of Build Your Tribe, I'm sharing with you a conversation that I had with not one, but two ads experts. And not just one of their names is Steven, both of their names are Steven. Today, I am interviewing Steven Johnson and Steven Blackburn of Rich from Anywhere. And while you might think of the worlds of organic social media marketing and paid advertising as opposed to each other and clashing and constantly at war, it's actually a marriage that can be very beautiful. It's two strategies that can work together really well and that very much feed into each other. Of course, the majority of our episodes of Build Your Tribe are about creating good content and growing on Instagram and monetizing on TikTok and building an email list. A lot of those strategies, a lot of the best practices are going to apply to the conversation that I'm about to share with you. We're going to talk about things like, where do you get started? Should you hire a coach or a manager or an entire agency, or should you just do your advertising yourself? At what point should you get started? Like after you've made $10,000, after you have 10,000 followers, when do you start considering running ads? We're going to talk about how advertising plays into your organic social media and how your organic social media can also help boost your ads. Speaking of boosting, we're also going to talk about boosting and whether or not you should boost posts. Even if you only have $5 a day to spend on advertising, today's episode is for you. Steven and Steven are going to help you get it figured out. They're going to help you learn where to get started, what the right path forward is, and we're even going to talk about what they're seeing as overarching trends, like what is working when it comes to ads right now versus what's less effective. And make sure you stick around to the end because they have one very exciting piece of news that I hadn't even considered myself that is going to be a serious game changer for running ads on Facebook and Meta and Instagram in the coming year. They have a extremely generous offer, something that I don't know if they've ever made before, so make sure to stick around to learn more about that free opportunity. I'm gonna quit my yapping. Here's the full interview. Hello, Steven and Steven. Welcome to Build Your Tribe.
Brock, what's going on, brother? Nice to meet you, man. Good to be here.
Yes, pleasure to meet you, and thanks for having us.
Of course, very excited to have you guys today to talk about a topic that, as we were just talking about off air, is so important. And it is something that we do in every area of our business. Every area of Team Johnson has some sort of paid advertising component, yet I recognize I'm not an ads expert. My mom is not an ads expert. And so I'm really excited to get to talk to you guys today because it is such a huge opportunity for our audience. And I think there's so much unknown for our listeners when it comes to running ads and where do you start and how do you start? And so let's just start there. You know, at what point should someone consider running ads, especially if let's say they've already gotten to the point where they have a product, whether it's an offer, a service, a digital good, they have something to sell. At what point do they consider running ads for that thing?
For sure, man. So I'll jump in first. So when it comes to running ads, you have to understand your product. So what we like to do before we even start paying for ads, we like to focus on what it's able to do organically, right? Because then it can tell us whether it's a proven product or a non-proven product. Now, obviously, to do this, you have to have some sort of a tribe together in order to see if it works organically. But if you do not have a tribe or you do not have customers that have already bought from you in the past, then the best way to test it out is to actually start running some ads. And, you know, before you start running ads, you want to make sure that you have a lot of the back end stuff in place as well. But just to answer your question, you know, if you have a brand that does not have a tribe yet, yes, go ahead and run ads because a lot of times that'll give you the advantage. Here's one thing about ads. Ads are kind of like, you know, back in the 90s when Mark McGwire and Sammy Sosa were out there just hitting a bunch of home runs and just literally like taking the MLB by storm, and then we find out they're using performance enhancing drugs. that's ads for you, right? It'll level up everything that you do.
Yeah, and to add on to that too, I think if someone is looking to ask that question, hey, when should I start running ads? I think it is the best if you already have a validated product, meaning like people are buying your stuff, right? You have a little bit of momentum, you know something's actually selling. That's when it's time to start, putting some gasoline on the fire. And Facebook ads are like an incredible way to do that, man.
Gotcha. Would you ever recommend running ads if not only do you not have like a tribe or the product isn't proven, would you ever recommend running ads if they didn't even have a product yet? Like if they're still just trying to grow their audience and they don't really know what they're going to sell? Would there be a purpose for ads at that point?
I think you could still do that. And that's the amazing thing about ads is you can gather such an incredible amount of data for honestly really not that much money. People come to us a lot and they're like, man, Facebook ads are so expensive. I can never run ads. That sounds like it's just going to tear a hole in my pocket. But I'm telling you right now, it is not that expensive, right? When you run with the right strategy. Like we have students in our coaching programs that are spending less than $5 a day and collecting incredible information on stuff and just getting that information really, really quickly. That way you can let the data tell you which products are working, which hooks are working, what videos are working. Let the data tell you. I think that's actually a really big thing that people need to hear when it comes to building a business and figuring out what products to sell and all this kind of stuff. Never, ever, ever let your emotions dictate what you sell, right? Let the data tell you what to do. And I think that's honestly why we've had so much success with ads and why our business is on an upward trajectory right now is because the only thing that I know is that I don't know anything, right? I just let the data tell me exactly what to do. And honestly, it's never led us astray, man. So I think that you can definitely use ads if you want to figure out, what product. This is back in the day when we used to do e-commerce and we were doing drop shipping. This was like 8 years ago. That was one of the biggest strategies was you had to find a winning product. And in the beginning, you didn't know what a winning product was. So you had to test out with ads to figure out what that winning product was going to be. So yeah, you can absolutely still do that. And you can do it with lead magnets. You can do it all types of stuff, man.
Yeah, and that's honestly what I wanted to touch on. For those of you that don't have a product yet, but you kind of have an idea of what it is that you want to do, the best thing that you should be doing is running ads to a lead magnet. Now, we talk about lead magnets real quick. A lead magnet is something that you give away a lot of times for free in exchange for someone's information. So when you're thinking about creating your lead magnet, for those of y'all listening, create something that pertains to what it is that you're going to be selling on the back end later. Give it away for free, right? Run ads to it and start collecting those names, phone numbers, and emails. Because once you have that data and that information, now whenever you create your product or your service, it's a text blast or an email blast away from you getting an influx of sales because now you already have the customers ready to buy from you. So lead magnets are a great way to do that.
Yeah. And I second that. I mean, that's exactly what we do in our business. And that's also what we see working the best is when we're sending our ads or when we're using ads to send people to our lead magnets, our freemiums, or even our lower expense offers like our $7 trial, things like that. What we've seen, at least, and this could be, I'm sure it varies industry to industry, product to product, ad to ad, but from what we've seen, as we start to advertise for our more expensive products or even our more expensive options of products, the ads get tougher. It gets tougher to find that client. The cost per conversion goes up and all that stuff. But I know you briefly mentioned, the idea of budget, and you said some people in your coaching program are spending as little as $5 a day. So can you talk to me more about budget and what people should realistically expect? Because I know that's got to be one of the biggest, stopping points that people have is whoa, listen, guys, this sounds great, but I don't have $50,000 to spend on ads. Yeah. What would you say to that person?
I always recommend when someone is new to running Facebook ads that they start off with a pretty delicate budget, right? And when I say that, I mean between $5 and $15 per day to start with, right? And the reason why we do that is because in the beginning, you don't necessarily know what's going to work for you yet. Right? You don't know what targeting is going to work for you. You don't know what videos are going to convert. You don't know what images are going to convert. You really have no idea. So anyone out here that's telling you that you have to go out of the gate spending $500 a day, $1,000 a day, and you don't even have any experience running Facebook ads, I honestly would not listen to them at all. Right? You don't have to do that. Now, if you are a super high level entrepreneur and $500 a day is nothing to you, then yeah, you could test that, and you're going to collect data and get the information very quickly, right? So you can do that if you want to, but for anybody who's not necessarily at that level yet, don't feel like you need to spend hundreds of dollars a day. You can collect an incredible amount of information by spending $10 a day. And then at that point, here's what you do. You start running these ads, and what's going to happen is you're going to start running these ads, and all of these numbers are going to start popping up in your Facebook ads manager, right? And this is the crucial part. These numbers that are popping up inside of your account are literally a language. It's literally a language that's telling you exactly what's working and why it's working. It's showing you what's not working and why it's not working. So you can now start to make strategic decisions based off of what's making you money and what's not making you money, right? And like with any language, if you don't understand the language, like, Brock, I could be giving you the key to life right now, right? But if you don't speak my language, then you're gonna be like, I don't understand what he's saying, right? It's the same thing with Facebook ads. If you don't speak the data language and you don't know what Facebook's trying to tell you, then you're gonna be like most people who go into the ads manager and they're just like going all willy-nilly, just running ads randomly, throwing you know what against the wall, and then they turn into one of those people who say Facebook ads don't work. Well, it's not that Facebook ads don't work. It's that you just don't know how to work them, you know?
Exactly. Exactly. And while we're having this conversation about budget, I do want to preface that by saying, if you're boosting your posts, stop it. Boosting your posts, right? Like we have a phrase that we like to say, boosting your posts is literally the devil. Okay? It's the devil. And the reason why is because here's what Facebook does. They see that you created an organic post and it does pretty well. And then they hit you with the little notification and they say, hey, Brock, you know that post there that got 50,000 views? You could get 200,000 more if you just put $5 more to the budget. And they make it seem like it's like this really easy thing to do. And a lot of people fall into that trap, and they simply just start running ads from their phone, right? And that's one thing for your listeners. I want y'all to understand that you do not want to boost your post, because when you boost your post, you do not have control the way that you think you have control. Like with us, we get really into the nitty gritty when we run our ads, and we like to truly control our audiences and who we're targeting and the locations we're targeting. And we get really specific when we run our ads. But if you do it by boosting your posts, it's very broad, and it's honestly not effective at all. And actually, when we started running ads, that's what we did. We started boosting our posts. You just gave me instant anxiety right when you said that, bro. Yo, it's so crazy and hard to talk about at the same time. We spent about $5,000 on ads the wrong way before we realized that we were doing it wrong. And the reason why is because we were literally on YouTube trying to figure out through the abyss of different techniques and in conversations. We were trying to figure out what worked. And we got led astray. We got led to the wrong information. And here, let me say this too. One thing that the greatest thinkers in the world have in common, I'm talking about like Steve Jobs, Elon Musk, like the greatest thinkers in the world that have created billion-dollar businesses. You want to know the one thing that they have in common? It's the fact that they have the ability to stop thinking. Which is crazy when you think about it. They literally have the ability to shut off the thinking switch and go and execute, right? But a lot of times these entrepreneurs that are out here getting started, there's so many different strategies in their head and so many different techniques in their head, and they start thinking too much. And when you start thinking too much thinking leads to your ship sinking. And I see a lot of entrepreneurs out here who are thinking way too much, and they have that paralysis by analysis, and they're just looking at all these different ways to do things. And as a result, they do nothing at all. And it's very dangerous. So I have to preface that because I want you to understand that there's a lot of people that teach this stuff. You have to find the right people that are going to guide you and lead you to the promised land, because there's a lot of BS out there too. So you have to make sure you're making the right decisions and then execute on it as well.
Though, right? Like we spent that $5,000 with Facebook ads, made 0 sales, by the way, nothing. And it took us 3 months to make 0 sales, right? So we literally were like, okay, at 3 months, by the way, this is at a time where we were broke music artists, right? Anybody who looks into our story, like we were music artists, we were broke. We got into Facebook ads because we wanted to find a way to just fund our music career. That's it. So we were like, hey, let's run some ads. Let's start an e-commerce store. Let's watch some YouTube videos. And we spent $5,000 that we didn't have and just dug ourselves in a deeper hole. And then we're like, okay, we made no sales. So at that point, we were like, okay, that didn't work. I'm not going to do that again. So let's find somebody who already has proven results, who already knows what they're doing. And let's just see if they can help us. So luckily, we found a guy who knew what he was doing and he had great track record. So we ended up just paying him to teach us. Now, his mentorship was $5,000, right? Which is crazy now, like looking back on it, how we spent $5,000 and then we had to spend another $5,000 to have him coach us. So now we're $10,000 in the hole because neither of us have money at this point. We're like broke, working 2 jobs that we hated. All types of situations going on, right? So we had a business credit card. We tapped out our credit card, just trying to learn this stuff. This was honestly our last shot. I was like, dude, if this doesn't work, I'm going to be bartending for the rest of my life. Like, so this guy comes in, he looks at the way that we're running our ads and he's like, oh, well, no wonder you guys aren't making any sales, dude. Like, you're not doing anything right? Change this, do this targeting, say this on your ad, switch these things up. We did it. I'll never forget this I'll never forget this because we made that change. We went home that night, launched the ad, and we ended up making a sale within 8 hours. By the time we woke up in the morning, we had a sale on our phone. Wow. This was the moment that changed everything for me personally because it wasn't because we were rich, right? Like, I think the sale that we made was like, was it $15? It was like it
was like $12.99 plus like $6 shipping.
Super cheap product. That wasn't the thing. The thing that went off in my mind was, oh, someone that I didn't know saw an ad that I ran, went to my website and actually purchased with me. Like, it was that epiphany moment that this actually does work. Right. Mm-hmm. And so like we saw that dude, I busted into his room and I was like, bro, put your spacesuit on because we about to take this thing to the moon, bro.
Yeah.
And I actually didn't say that. I didn't actually really say that, but I wanted to.
Yeah. No, I know the feeling that first sale is a game changer. And when it's the first sale from ads, it's a game changer. I hear it from like every single entrepreneur I talk to. That first sale, even though it's usually like $10 or $15, it's such a light bulb moment. It's such a game changer. It's such a validation that this is possible. I loved what you said. Too much thinking leads to the ship sinking. That is very poetic, and it makes sense with your guys' musical background. But I couldn't agree more. And that's something that I'm always preaching is you have to just take action. And you guys were talking about, finding the right strategy or the right person to teach you the right strategy. And the way you find that right strategy or that right answer, quote unquote, is by taking action. Like, how do you run 100 meters? Well, there are multiple ways that you could do it, and some are going to be faster or slower, but ultimately they're all going to be faster. Hopping on one leg backwards is going to be faster than sitting at the starting line and like thinking about, well, what would be the fastest? What would be the best way to do it? So I love everything you guys are saying. I want to go back though to what you were talking about speaking the language of ads. And I remember when I first kind of stepped into the role of CEO of our business, and it wasn't just me with my 2-person team, it was me with a large team. And I'm on these meetings and they're talking about things like ROAS and all these like fancy acronyms. And I don't want to get too lost in the sauce here, but can you talk to me a little bit more about the language? And when someone opens up their ads manager, what are some like things that they should be looking for, things that they should be caring about? So as you said, they're not just going in there willy-nilly and pressing random buttons.
Yeah, it's a great question, man. First of all, just to touch on what Brock just said, make sure you guys are running your ads from your ads manager, right? Like he just said, don't boost your post. It doesn't work. You want to run from your ads manager. And by the way, all of you guys have access to an ads manager. It's free. It's just like the business, so there's 2 sides to Facebook. There's the front end side where like your profile picture and you talk with your friends and stuff. And then there's a back end of Facebook called the business manager. And you can literally get there by going to business.facebook.com and you can set up your ads manager and that's where you run your ads from. All right. So then that's where you run your ads from. And then when you start running ads, all these numbers start popping up And that's the language that we're talking about. So here's the thing, guys. I don't want you to get overwhelmed, because the thing is, running ads is actually really easy. It's not complicated. The reason why most people think it's complicated, it's not because the subject matter is hard. It's because their studying method is wrong, right? They're going and they're just watching 800,000 YouTube videos, learning from 800,000 teachers and wondering why they're confused. Like, of course you're confused. That's not the way that humans learn, right? You need to learn. One person needs to sit down with you and say, okay, look, boom, this is step 1. Here's step 2. Here's step 3. Now do those 3 things, come back, let's look at the numbers and let's tweak from there. And if you do that repetitively, you are going to blow your business up, period. But like, I say all that to say that there's a lot of metrics inside of Facebook, but you don't need to pay attention to all of them. There really is only a handful of metrics that are super, super important to you, that you need to pay attention to. And I don't know how many we can go in today, but I'll give you one, for instance. There's one in particular called what we call the CTR, right? CTR stands for click-through rate, right? And a lot of people hear that and they're like, okay, click-through rate, what does that even mean, right? Basically, all it is like what percentage of people who saw your ad clicked on it. And that's cool. That's a pretty analytical marketer definition, right? But give me that in like a layman's term. What does that mean in like plain English, right? Because that's what we like to do. We like to translate like all this data marketing lingo to like people who speak plain English, right? What a CTR is telling you, your CTR is telling you how well your video or your image is resonating with your audience. That's all it's doing. It's just a marker saying, hey, your CTR is really low. That means that people are not rocking with your video because they're just scrolling right past it and they're not clicking on it. But if you have a very high CTR, then that means people really are resonating with your video or your image or whatever creative you're using because they're clicking on it at a high rate, okay? Now, the next thing you need to understand is that there are benchmarks for each one of these metrics. So for instance, if you're running a Facebook ad and you're trying to figure out, so for instance, like a benchmark for a CTR, right? What we like to keep it at is at 1% or higher, okay? 1% or higher. And this is the game changer because now you don't have to wonder if your video is working good or not. You don't have to use your opinion or emotion. You use data. If it's less than 1%, then what that tells you is that your video or your image is not resonating with your audience very, very much. And you need to switch out your creative, try something different. Now, if it's at 1% or higher, then typically that means that they're resonating with your creative and that's not the issue. So you're like, okay, cool. So if your ad's not working, then okay, my CTR is above 1%. The video is not the problem. Let's move on to the next metric and let's try to diagnose it elsewhere. Does that make sense though?
Yeah, I think that does. So if I'm tracking, if like, let's say my click-through rate is like 2.2%, I can then assume, okay, the video, the ad, the photo, whatever the actual content is, that's doing its job in terms of getting people's attention, getting them to actually click. But then maybe once they click, they go to a sales page and then something on the sales page isn't working. Maybe there's like copy on the sales page that isn't converting someone, or maybe they go to the sales page, but the link is broken, or they go to the sales page and then they go to another checkout page and then they go to a fourth page and then there's like 17 more pages before they ever even become a customer. So basically what you're saying is at least we can whittle down to find what the actual problem is rather than trying to fix 100 different things at once.
Yes.
What 100%. And reading metrics, essentially the reason why you have to understand how to read the data and understand the language is because of what you just said. It helps you to identify specific bottlenecks within your flow, right? Because here's what most people do. Most people will run an ad one time, right? They'll hit the publish button one time. And it's very easy to just hit publish one time and just hope and cross your fingers and hope that you get some sales. But that's where most people stop, is right there. And the reason why they stop is simply because they don't understand what just happened. They don't understand anything. So if the ad is successful and they got a few sales, they're like, okay, cool. I guess I'm going to keep it running. I don't know, but I guess. But then there's the other side. If you're running the ad and you don't get sales, then you just cut it off. And if you don't know how to read the data, then at that point you're literally stuck. So that's why when you don't get sales, you have to look at these metrics, because it helps you to essentially diagnose your ad. We're like the ad doctors. And for those of y'all watching right now, think about your brand and how you run ads as you being the doctor, the ad doctor. So when you go into your ad account and you start looking at these metrics, every single metric speaks to a certain thing that you're doing in your business correctly or incorrectly. That's literally it. So if you can understand the metrics, honestly, the top marketers in the world, that's what they're doing, and that's why they're successful. Right. It's all about the metrics.
But here's the thing, like marketing agencies will literally charge you $5,000, $10,000, $20,000 a month in retainers to do what it is that we're telling you to do right now, right? And I'm not saying that agencies are all bad, but a lot of agencies are not really getting people really great results. And a lot of them are even doing some crazy stuff that I'm not even going to talk about, like stealing your pixel data and all types of wild stuff.
Crazy.
But literally, if you learn the skills that we're telling you right now, you're learning the skills that agencies charge you $5,000 a month for. So now all of a sudden, you don't have to hire an agency for $5,000 a month. You can keep that money and put it towards your own ad spend, or like a lot of our high level entrepreneurs who are very busy, they like to actually just train an in-house team, right? Maybe it's your wife or your husband or your son or your daughter or a cousin, somebody that you trust who actually has your best interest at heart, right? Because at the end of the day, agencies don't really care about your company, your business, right? They're going to do the bare minimum just to not get fired. Just saying. Yeah. And the agencies don't like us, by the way. So I'm okay with saying this, right? Agencies hate us because we teach people how to not need agencies.
You know what's really funny is, so we were on Ryan Pineda's podcast, and I don't know if you know Ryan, but he's a, multiple 7-figure entrepreneur. He's big in real estate. And for the longest time, he was going out outsourcing, hiring agencies. Then he decided to bring it in-house. He was like, you know what? The agencies are cool, but let me go ahead and bring it in-house. And as soon as he brought it in-house, he realized that he was making more money, more return on ad spend doing it in-house than actually outsourcing to an agency. So the results are twofold, because no longer do you have to spend money, $5K, $10K a month on an agency. So now you're saving that $10K, but now you can use those $10Ks toward that $10K towards ads and not have to pay an agency. So you're really saving money. I guess it really comes down to what it is that you want to do in your business. If you're an on-the-go entrepreneur and you simply just don't have time to run ads, then maybe an agency is the thing. But even if you consider an agency, you should also consider hiring a team member that you can train up on ads so that at least everything is in-house, So I just wanted to put that out there.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I 1,000% agree. And that's personally what we've done as well. We've had years of having this agency and that agency, and we're with an agency for 5 or 6 months. And then the results start slowly diminishing, and we start seeing that, they're adding more people into their agency and they're not really giving us, the right treatment anymore, whatever. And then we eventually part ways, we hire a new agency, and it's kind of like a repeat of this process. Eventually, now we have brought a lot of our advertising in-house as well, for just that control piece. But I love also what you're saying about learning the skills first. And I think that that's true in pretty much every area of entrepreneurship and business. It's going to benefit you to learn to do it yourself first, maybe not master it, but at least learn the basics so that if nothing else, you know what to look for. You can hire someone and you know what to hire. You can hire an agency or a person or whatever, and you know what to look for. I think that's absolutely huge. And that's true social in organic content as well. I think a lot of people are like, well, hey, I don't like making content. It's not my thing. So I'm going to hire an agency to do it for me. But then you don't know why the agency is or is not working.
Exactly.
And there's a million other problems that could come with that as well. But speaking of content, obviously, the ad that you're running is basically a form of content, right? Whether it's a photo or an infographic or a video or text or whatever, it is content. So does making a good ad essentially boil down to being able to make good content?
Absolutely, 100%. And this is where our two worlds collide, Brock, is because you're big when it comes to organic content and creating content that actually converts and all of these things. So if you take Brock's strategy of creating effective organic content and making money that way, you can see amazing strides. Let's say you post for 30 days straight, or let's say you post every other day for 30 days. This is where our two strategies really align. Look back over those past 30 days inside of your Instagram or your Facebook or your TikTok, wherever you're creating the content, and start looking and seeing which particular pieces of content perform the best, which one got the most comments, which one got the most shares and likes and things like that. Then what you want to do is you want to take that visual and you want to run ads to it, because if it did well organically, there's a really good chance that it'll do well inside of the ads as well. And I love the marriage between organic and paid ads. I truly believe that you should be doing both of these things, because that strategy right there that I just gave y'all is gold.
Yeah.
If you can tap in.
It's a killer combination. Like the organic with the paid together is a killer combination, dude. And by a little quick tip for you guys, when you're running ads, definitely you're probably going to want to prioritize video over images. Now, I will say split test though. You want to split test, right? Because again, the only thing I know is that I don't know anything at all. And I'm going to split test and let the data tell me. But what we found in the accounts that we're running, and we're running ads for some of the biggest names in the game on the back end, and we've been doing so for a while. And video always tends to outperform the images, right? And it's kind of simple to think about when you really think about it. Like, you know what they say about an image is worth 1,000 words, right? Well, a video is worth 1,000 images, right? So you're getting way more information and way more context in a short amount of time. And plus, we just live in a very video-centric world, so videos are going to tend to perform. But the other thing, that the reason why organic and paid work so well is because sometimes people will see your organic stuff and they'll come to your website and they'll check you out. But then what happens? The doorbell rings. The baby starts crying. The dog barks, whatever it is, and then they leave your website, right? And actually, for those of you who don't know, like most websites, like a standard conversion rate is about 3%, right? It's about 3%, 5% if you're like a rock star, right? So what that means is if 100 people hit your website, your goal is to get 3 of those people to convert. Isn't that crazy to think about? Like, so when you flip that upside down, that means that 97% of people who hit your website, even if you have a great website, are going to leave. And we've done a lot of research on this. We've dug into this particular topic. And a lot of times people are not leaving because they're not interested in your stuff. They're leaving because they got distracted by something, right? Because we live in this world of just like a million distractions, right? Even for me, like I go on a website, I leave that website, bro, I forgot I was on the website 5 minutes later, right? I'm off doing something completely different. So this is when we implement something called retargeting ads. And retargeting ads are your most profitable form of marketing online, period, point blank. There are no debates, right? Because it's the digital form of following up with people. And you know what they say about the follow-up? The fortune is in the follow-up, right? So what happens is these people, they come to your site, they saw one of your organic posts. It was amazing. They check your website out. They're like, and then ding dong. And then they go off, right? And then like later that night, they're chilling on the couch, scrolling through Instagram like everyone does. And one of your ads pop up and say, hey, what happened? You were checking out our website. What happened? You like go complete your order now, or go book your call now. And then they're like, oh yeah, that's right. I completely forgot about that. I meant to do that. Let me go ahead and do that now. Right. So imagine if you guys don't have retargeting ads set up right now, you are literally leaving thousands, tens of thousands, maybe hundreds of thousands of dollars on the table every month by not retargeting people, because they want your stuff. They just have to be reminded. That's it. And retargeting is an amazing way to do it. And it's really, again, it's all easy to do. It's not hard. You set a retargeting ad up and you launch it and you let it run, and it's just going 24/7. It's like the best assistant ever, right? Who doesn't complain, doesn't take off days.
Exactly. And if you go to our Instagram, Average From Anywhere, you better believe you're going to be retargeted a lot. And one thing I want to mention,
we practice what we preach over here.
No, we do. And I do want to mention this too, for those of y'all that are just going out here and simply thinking you could just pop up an ad and it goes crazy. One thing you have to do first is you have to make sure that you have the Facebook pixel connected to your website. That is a must.
That's a big part.
And I know a lot of people listening might not know what the Facebook pixel is, so I'm just going to break it down for you really quickly. The pixel is this little itty bitty piece of code that you put on your website. And I know a lot of times when you hear the word code, it's like a danger word. It's like, yo, code, that's intimidating. But Facebook makes it really easy, I promise you, to install this pixel onto your website. Now, what the pixel does is the pixel tracks the actions that people perform on your website. So for instance, let's say that you're driving people to your website, and they come to your website and then they visit the product page, then they add a product to cart, and then they purchase. Those are literally 4 different events that a person has done on your website. The pixel tracks all of those events, which is awesome. So now the pixel communicates back to Facebook and literally stores that person inside of Facebook. Now, what gets even funner is that you can use the pixel to create something called a custom audience, okay? A custom audience is a segmented group of people that have performed a specific action on your website. So for instance, let's say that you drive 1,000 people to your website and 100 of them add a product to the cart. You can tell Facebook, hey, Facebook, you know those 100 people that added a product to my cart? I want to go ahead and segment those particular people into their own little community of people or into their own little box. So now what you've done is you've created what's called a custom audience of just those 100 people. So let's just say this. Let's say you create a custom audience based off of anyone that's purchased from you. Let's say you've gotten 1,000 purchases over time. Would you say that those 1,000 people all have something similar? They love your brand. They have enough money to pay for your product. They're all about Brock Johnson, right? All 1,000 of those people. So you can go to Facebook and say, yo, Facebook, you know those 1,000 people that bought from me? I want you to create a custom audience of those people. And then what I want you to do is take those people and create what's called a lookalike audience. And this is when it gets really fun, because essentially a lookalike audience is where you take the custom audience of people and you tell Facebook to create more people that are exactly the same as the people that have already bought from you. So now check this out, though, because Facebook is really good. Facebook will create the lookalike audience for you, but it's not going to be just 1,000 people based off of the people that bought from you. It's literally going to be 2.7 million new people that are exactly the same as the people inside of your custom audience. So you take that lookalike audience and you start running ads to just those particular people. That's when it goes really crazy. That's when you start having record months after months after months, is when you can really utilize Facebook the way it's designed to be used. Because again, we've been talking about this all show. Yeah. Facebook ads are very easy. It is not difficult to do.
I know somebody's over here listening like, yeah, but like, how do we know that lookalike audience is actually accurate, right? How do we know that these people actually do look like these people who've already purchased? And this is where Facebook, I think, has the trophy on all other ad platforms, right? Facebook has 52,000 data points on every single profile on Facebook. 52,000. I want you guys to think about that for a second. Like if you asked me to name 52 things about myself, it would take me a long time. 52 things. Facebook's over here knowing 52,000 things. So like when we say Facebook knows more about you than you know about you, like it's the truth. They really do. And by the way, a data point is something like, you know, what type of videos you like to watch, what type of videos you click on, what time in the morning do you typically open up your Facebook or Instagram app, right? All these things. They even scrape data off of Facebook on websites that you're looking at. They're listening to your conversations. Dude, they got everything. Okay. Yeah. They know everything about you. And from a consumer standpoint, it is terrifying. But if you're watching this video, you are a business owner. And from a business standpoint, this is gold. This is where things get crazy. So that's the reason why when we take an audience of people who purchase with you and you plug it into Facebook and say, hey, Facebook, go find me millions of people that look just like these people, but they're different people, trust me when I say it is extremely terrifyingly accurate. And your business is going to go crazy. That gem that you just dropped, like that was enough right there. Like that was enough.
That's the bar. That's the bar right there. Yeah.
You guys have been dropping lots and lots of gems. And honestly, I mean, maybe I'm in the minority with this. I know you said from the consumer standpoint, it's terrifying. I think it's definitely crazy that they have 52,000 data points on me. Personally, I'm like, take as many as you need, because if I'm going to get an ad that is perfect for me, I'd much rather see an ad that I'm like, oh my gosh, yes, like I've been wanting this my whole life. Thank you, Facebook, for showing this to me, rather than some random, like, you know, product that I have no interest in at all. But maybe that's just me.
What I was going to say was I want to mention this too, because you're big with Instagram growth. You know, TikTok is reportedly, possibly, more than likely about to get banned.
Yeah.
Right? I was reading a stat the other day, and this is going to make you excited, and this is going to make a lot of people that want to advertise on Facebook very excited. If TikTok does get banned, 55% of the users on TikTok are going to come to Facebook and Instagram, which, number one, means more eyeballs on Instagram for your organic content. But more importantly, 55% of those eyeballs, of those billions of people, are coming to Facebook, which means those data points that Facebook's going to get on them are going to be extremely accurate. And my prediction is, if this does happen, that Facebook ads are going to be even stronger because of it. So I just wanted to point that out.
And going back to what you were saying earlier about like targeting the right people at the right time with the right stuff. This is where like the debate of like Google ads versus Facebook ads is always like a pretty big debate, right? Which one's better, right? They both work. Google ads for us has always been way more expensive, and we've gotten way higher cost per result with Google ads. So we tend to do Facebook way more. Plus Facebook has way more data on its users than Google does. It's crazy. But the other thing, the reason why we love Facebook ads so much and Instagram ads is because we call it interruption marketing, right? Because what we're doing with Facebook ads is we're interrupting people's daily habits, and there's just scrolling on Facebook, and then here we come, boom, interrupting them with some ad. And the reason why this is so powerful is because, yes, people out here, they have problems, and your business solves those problems, right? But the thing is, that sometimes people have problems and they don't necessarily know what the solution is for that problem. So if Google ads is more search-based, how are people going to go off and search for something that they don't even know exists?
Very true.
Right? And that is a lot of times in business or in life, when we have a problem, sometimes we know what the solution is and we just need to go search for it. But sometimes we have problems and we have no idea what the solution is. So how are we going to search for something that we don't know exists? And that's why Facebook ads are also very important for finding your customers that are looking for your stuff. They're praying for your stuff. They just don't know that you're there. Right. And I'm telling you right now, there are tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands, possibly millions of people out there that would love to buy your stuff right now if they just knew that you existed.
Yeah.
And that's it.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And to even add on to everything you guys are saying, first of all, I love the stat. You said 55 million coming from TikTok to Facebook and Instagram, or was it 55%?
55%.
Okay, 55%. So that's massive. Like that's probably over 100 million, because I think there's like 200 million Americans or 200 million Americans who are on TikTok, something like that, or 150. So anyways, it's a huge number. So yeah, that's exciting. I'm looking forward to that. On a personal note, hope TikTok doesn't get banned, but on a business note, if it's going to benefit my Facebook ads that much, maybe I am in favor of it. But also, if that happens in like January or whenever that's supposedly going to happen, that's also post-election cycle, which I know is something we haven't even talked about today. And I know it might be something that people listening haven't even considered, but I also am aware that like election years are heavy for political advertising. And so it often means that like businesses who are advertising during, the next few months as we run up to this upcoming US election, have basically more competition. Is that accurate, or is that just kind of a outdated way of thinking of mine?
No, actually, you're right. And what you're referring to is the CPM, which is your cost per 1,000 impressions. Because, and the reason why that's accurate, Brock, is because the way that Facebook ads work is it's an auction process, right? So the cost of your ads is all dependent on who's in the auction. So I'm gonna use this as an example. Let's say that you go to an auction and there's 5 people in the room with you auctioning for a particular item, right? I know that if I'm going to an auction with just 5 people in it, I'm probably not gonna have to pull out the big bucks to win that auction because there's not as much competition.
Yeah.
But then if I go to an auction and there's thousands of people inside of this auction, I know I better bring my checkbook because I'm going to have to bid a lot higher to outbid everybody else.
Yeah.
That's the same way that ads work. Ads are an auction process. So when you're running your ads, if you notice that your CPM or your cost goes higher, all that means is that there's a lot of people that are inside of the auction running ads to the same audiences that you're targeting as well. And Facebook does what's called automatic bidding. So they pretty much bid on your behalf. And the reason why a lot of people love automatic bidding is because Facebook will never go crazier than the amount of daily budget that you have. So they're bidding on your behalf, and it's pretty reasonable. But sometimes you'll see that your CPMs are $70, $80, and that's an extremely high cost to pay for 1,000 impressions. It's extremely high. So we want to keep our CPMs lower. But to your point, yes, that's exactly what happens. And not just during election season, but it also happens during the holiday season when all these advertisers know that this is the time when people are spending the most money. They're literally throwing money at everything, right? You'll notice that the cost of your ads will be more expensive during those times simply because everybody's advertising at that time. So to your point, that's a great observation. That's exactly correct, man. Like, and anytime there's an influx of businesses running ads, you're going to see your CPM get a little bit higher.
Gotcha. All right, that makes sense. Before we go, I'd love for each of you to just give one last word of advice, one last tip, one last bar, something to share with my audience. Stage is yours.
What I'll say is this. In order to truly be successful, you have to understand this particular concept. And it's very true. There's been scientific studies on this thing, right? If you hang around people that have a very low expectation of you, you will fall to those standards every single time. But if you hang around people that have a very high expectation or a high demand of you, you will rise to those standards every single time. And it's really interesting if you're in the, I don't know if you're into sports, Brock, but if you look at how records are set, it's really interesting because if you look back to the 60s or the 70s, NBA, for instance, like there were scoring champions back then, and there were people that scored thousands and thousands of points. But then if we look at things today, all those records have been broken. The reason why records are broken is because the previous generation didn't have a high enough threshold to aim for. And us as human beings, we are very goal oriented. And if we see something done, then we can try to top it, and we can wrap our mind around it, right? So back then in the 60s, they didn't have the high goals or high standards to aim for. So their goals and their standards were a lot lower. But somebody like LeBron James, who's the leading scorer in NBA history, I will argue that the reason why he is so successful and he is as amazing as he is because he had very high standards and very high accolades to aim for. He was aiming for Jordan, and Jordan had specific stats and these things that he was aiming for. So it's a lot easier for you to break records within your business if you have very high standards for what it is that you're trying to accomplish.
I love it. I love it. Couldn't agree more. Thank you guys so much. I appreciate you. We'll link everything up in the show notes down below. Appreciate you guys. Again, thank you so much for listening today. @RichFromAnywhere is linked up down in the show notes below this episode. Make sure to send them a direct message on Instagram with the word Rich24, RICH, the number 2 and the number 4. Make sure to just get started. That's my final piece of advice. That's my final recommendation. Just like anything else, to go all the way back to my analogy about running a 100-meter dash. Sure, the fastest, most efficient way to run it might be the way Usain Bolt does it. It might be, with proper running technique and running in a straight line. But ultimately, even if you're crawling backwards doing a crab walk on your butt, you're going to be moving faster and you're going to be moving forward towards that goal, towards the finish line, way more efficiently and way faster than someone who's sitting at the starting blocks thinking about what's the best way to move forward. So I want to encourage you to take action, and I want to encourage you, no matter what stage you're at in business or growing your brand online, to consider incorporating paid advertising into your overall strategy. Thank you for listening. Don't forget to subscribe, and I will see you next week. And as always, happy.
I'm just here to say that if you're on the fence, get off the fence and get in this course, because this is like the best course.
We rich from anywhere, baby.
Hello. Hi, everyone. My name is China McNeil, and I am here to give a testimonial for RFA, for Stephen and Stephen. I'm just letting you guys know that, hands down, if you're looking for a course, if you're looking for guidance in your business, these guys are the truth. This is the way to go. I'm a business owner. I own a salon. I own my own hair care products, my own hair extension line. So I'm going to tell you, I was busy working in my business versus working on my business. I was busy paying other people to do these things, but with the tools that they've given and the tools that they share so much knowledge, guys. You can actually scale your business, and you can take your business to a whole different level, like actually understanding the dynamics of what you're doing, like being a business owner, from marketing to ads to, coaching. It's just so many wonderful things that they have wrapped up for us, right? I'm flabbergasted how two people are operating this business at such a wonderful scale. Like, they're really helping us as entrepreneurs. There's no one else out here doing this. I'm just here to say that if you're on the fence, get off the fence and get in this course, because this is like the best course. I'm telling you, I have paid for other courses with other people, and they do not even compare to what you have and what you will get here. So I'm speaking from experience. These gentlemen have really changed the way that I do business, the way that I think about business, and the way that I handle my business. And so I just want you guys to know that you're getting the best of the best. This is the place to be, and I hope to see you in the inner circle. All right, guys, take care.
All right, guys. So I hope you enjoyed that interview. And here's the thing, y'all. You have to understand something. When it comes to being successful in life, you have to eliminate the chatter. You're literally thinking about all these different plays that you want to make. And maybe you're watching a million different YouTube videos, and they're all giving you different bits of advice, and you're trying to piece everything together. And that just adds to the clutter that is in your brain. My advice to you is to limit the amount of information you take in and find one source to get that information from. There's no reason to find a play over here and a play over there and a play over there, because here's what happens. Too much thinking leads to your ship sinking. It's called paralysis by analysis. And all that means is when you get the play from a coach to go do something amazing, if you have all these other plays in your head that you thought about running but didn't run, that's going to get into the way of that game-winning play. A lot of times people are sitting on gold mines, and because they're waiting for the perfect time, they're waiting for the perfect lighting, they're waiting for the perfect opportunity when everything is quiet in their house, and they're waiting for them to get a babysitter, and they're waiting for all of these different things to happen. When they do that, they are literally postponing their success. And here's the thing, there is no such thing as perfection. So why are we aiming for that? So there's no reason for you to wait for the perfect time, because honestly, the best time for you to do anything in life is right now. That's the time to get it. And too much thinking leads to your ship sinking. We're so worried about this. We're so worried about that. We're so worried about the camera, getting the right camera and getting the right everything, right? Eliminate all of that. Stop thinking so much. And you know what's funny? You know what the greatest minds in the world have in common? I'm talking about like your billionaire CEO guys, right? Like your Elon Musk, or your Steve Jobs, or your Bill Gates, or Richard Branson. Like all of these successful individuals that are multi-billionaires and like run the most successful businesses in the world. They are world renowned for their brilliant minds. But you know what they all have in common? Is the fact that although they think a lot, they have the ability to shut down that thinking and execute. And that is why they are in the position that they are in right now. Is because, yes, they have these amazing thoughts and they think of all these incredible ideas and all this cool stuff. But when it comes time to run the play, they literally silence their mind, silence the chatter, and execute and run that play. Then when that play is run, then they move on to the next play that's in their head. They are not self-sabotaging themselves by thinking too much. Okay? So I want to encourage y'all to do the same thing. Quiet the mind, because when you quiet the mind, an amazing thing happens. All right? Let me share this with you. All right? So for those of y'all that don't know, we're big into quantum physics and law of attraction and manifestation and all of those things. We're really big into that stuff, right? And there's a specific state of being that you can enter called God consciousness. And this is where everything that you ever want to manifest or bring into your life exists, right? So I'm just going to type God right here. And God consciousness is vibrating at a certain frequency, right? This is like the top of the top. This God consciousness is vibrating at a certain frequency, right? Then down here, there's another frequency called lack, okay? There's another frequency called a lack frequency, right? And that frequency is also vibrating at a particular level. And the lack frequency is where nothing but bad things exist, nothing but lack exists, nothing but a non-abundant mindset exists, right? That's a lack frequency. Now, the God frequency or the God consciousness is where you can manifest everything you want: the money, the house, the cars, the beautiful family, the health. All of these things exist inside of God consciousness, and that's up here, okay? Now, when it comes to manifestation, when it comes to getting to this level of God consciousness, and anyone who studies this stuff understands this, the way to achieve God consciousness and the way to achieve a greater vibration is simply by being still and quieting your mind. Okay? Dr. Joe Dispenza calls this where you're activating a state of nothingness, where you're not thinking of anything anymore. You're done with the thinking. You've silenced your mind. That's literally what allows you to begin vibrating at such a high frequency that your being begins to enter in to that God-like frequency. And once you do this, once you simply silence your mind, all of these things that you dream of and that you want to manifest, you are now in the realm of attracting those things into your life. Okay? Now, this is exactly why you got Elon Musk out here doing incredible things. You got all these billionaires out here doing incredible things and manifesting the life that they want. It's simply because although they think a lot, they have the ability to silence their mind when it's time so that they can go and execute. And when they execute, all of this flows into their life. Literally all of it. So it is very important for you all to eliminate the chatter, because here's the thing. It gets really loud out here. Right? It gets really loud out here. And here's like my music note thing or whatever you want to call it, right? It gets really loud out here. People are yelling, screaming. You got all these different ideas and it can become a lot. But once you simply silence those things, silence your mind, get into a mentorship, Get into something that's more streamlined, that eliminates all the outside noise and allows you to focus on one thing and one thing only. That's when you begin to raise your vibration. You want to know another way to get into this godlike frequency and raise your vibration? It's by getting around others who are vibrating at this same level right here. Okay? Because here's what happens. A lot of times in life, we don't have mentors and people to guide us in a positive direction. You know what our mentors are? Believe it or not, our mentors are our bosses that we work the 9 to 5 with. Our mentors, believe it or not, are the people that we listen to on a daily basis. Your mentor could be someone that you absolutely despise at work. But the reason I say they're your mentors is because this is what you're around all the time. So this is what you're absorbing and learning from every single day. And that might sound crazy saying that your mentor is someone that you hate. But if you're in an inner circle, or if you're around people constantly all the time that you despise, but you are around them enough, their vibration, their low vibration will rub off on you. And those are the things that you will start acting on a daily basis. That's what this frequency is right here. That's what the lack frequency is. This frequency right here brings you nothing good at all. It's struggle to pay your bills. It's health problems. It's no money. It's unhappiness. It's depression. It's all of those things are right here inside of this negative frequency. So the quickest way for you to hop to that next frequency is to be around people who are already vibrating at this particular level. And the best way to do that is by getting around podcasts that are positive, that are gonna help you to manifest the life that you want. Getting around coaching that's gonna allow you to manifest the life that you want. Getting around all of these different things, y'all. Okay, so if that's you and you're someone who wants to now increase your frequency to more of a God-like frequency, to more of an abundant-like frequency, what I want you to do is click that link below. Head to richfromanywhere.com. Check out some of our courses. Book a call with us. Let's see what we can do to help you to get that frequency up. Because here's the thing, in 2025, you can manifest the life that you want to live. But you got to be around the right vibration in order to do it, y'all. All right. So I just wanted to share that with y'all. I hope that was very helpful for y'all. Now, with that being said, we're going to jump into the next video. I want y'all to check this out. Get your notepad out. Make sure you're taking notes and absorb this stuff, y'all. We want you to have an amazing 2025, and it starts right now. All right. We appreciate y'all rocking with us. Let's continue.
What's up, guys? In this video, I want to share with you a very, very important principle if you want to build a very successful business, really a successful life in general. You have to understand this principle. And if you don't understand this principle, you will have a lot of headache and you will continue to get resistance as you're trying to grow this, right? So we're gonna get into this, but before I get into that, I wanna ask you guys a question. Have you ever seen a skyscraper being built, right? Have you ever drove down the road and seen a skyscraper being built? And it's like, oh my God, like, this is amazing. Like, I can't even believe human beings are doing this. It's like incredible. And then have you ever driven down the road and seen a regular house, single family home being built, right? You drive down the road and you're like, oh, look, they're building a house. Okay, and you just keep on driving, right? It's no big deal, right? It's not really anything to see. Thinking about the difference between a single family home and a skyscraper is really, really interesting. If you look at, let's just say this is our single family home, right? Did you guys know that when it comes to a single family home, in order to build, like the code in order to build a single family home is you have to have a slab, a foundation that is about 4 to 6 inches deep, right? That's for your single family home, okay? Now let's look at the skyscraper that we were just talking about, right? Let's just say that this is the skyscraper, right? The one that everyone's like, oh my God, this is so incredible, right? Now, when you're going to build a skyscraper, did you guys know that, for instance, the Empire State Building, the foundation to build the Empire State Building is, here, let me draw this down here. The foundation to build the Empire State Building is a whopping 56 feet deep. 56 feet deep. That is crazy when you really logically think about digging 56 feet deep into the ground and putting all this metal and concrete and all this stuff. Like, it's crazy just to be able to put something up that high, right? Why am I telling you guys this? The reason why I'm telling you this is because a structure can only go as high as its foundation will allow. And building a business is very, very similar to building a skyscraper. And the problem with most business owners is that they're trying to build these skyscraper businesses on top of single family home slabs. And they wonder why their business keeps falling down every single year. Remember this, your business can only go as high as your foundation will allow. If you want to build a skyscraper type of business, you've got to dig a skyscraper type of foundation. And let me show you why. So this is literally what happens to business owners all the time. And I really want you to pay attention, right? So let's just say this is, a business owner, and he's looking to start his business, right? So he goes off and he builds this little foundation for his business. So what he does is he goes ahead and starts his business and he puts it out into the marketplace, right? Now, inevitably, this is what happens when you put out a business and you go out into the real world. You have what we call Mother Nature. You have what we call real life, right? And real life starts hitting this business. Real life is mindset issues. Real life is mad customers, right? Real life is social media algorithms changing every year. All these different factors start hitting the business. And then what happens is, because he only has a really, really small foundation, what happens is this business just falls down. And he wonders why. And he thinks it's the business's fault. And he thinks it's the economy's fault. And he thinks it's blah, 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 and all these excuses. But really what the problem was is all points back down to he doesn't have a strong foundation. That business could have never been built. It can never sustain. It can't stay up there if it doesn't have a strong foundation to stay on, right? So then you have another scenario with another business owner, same kind of person from the same kind of country with the same kind of background, right? But this time, this guy, he decides to, you know what? I'm going to make sure that I dig my foundation really, really deep. So he digs this foundation really, really deep. And then he goes off and he launches this business. And then just like with any other business, real life hits. So you got mindset issues. You got angry customers. You got social media algorithms changing every single week. You got all these different things that are just attacking this business. But because he has built this strong, deep foundation, now the business can sustain these inevitable storms and the business can stay afloat and it can keep growing, right? What I want you to understand is that you want to be like this business owner. You don't want to be like this business owner. So the next question that should be going through your mind right now is, all right, that all sounds great. I know I need to dig a deep foundation, but how do I even do that? How do I dig a deep foundation for my business so that it can stay stable and it can grow to where I want it to grow, so I can actually support my family and I can make my family proud and get the life of freedom that I know that I want, right? How can I actually do that, right? How do I actually do that? Well, the way that you dig a deep foundation for your business is consuming knowledge, learning new skills, going to masterminds and networking with people, building relationships, right? All these types of things are the way that you dig a very, very deep foundation. The more masterminds that you attend, the deeper your foundation. The more skill sets that you acquire, the deeper your foundation. The more relationships that you have, the deeper your foundation. The more you invest in yourself, the deeper your foundation. The one thing that's really, really cool about this analogy is that when this building is built, right? We all see this stuff, right? We see the levels and, the skyscrapers and all the stuff being built all the way up, right? We see that. But what you don't see is this part right here. You don't see the foundation that was built before it started actually going up in the air. All the workers and all the different people that were down here digging this foundation for weeks, for months, digging this foundation before you even got to see any of this up here, right? So what you have to understand is that if you want to build a skyscraper, you have to dig down before you can go up. And the same thing is true for your business. If you want to build something that you're actually proud of, something that you can take care of your family and have all this freedom, something that's really, really big, you have to dig down first before it can go up. Now, there is one way that building a skyscraper is different than building a business. Because when it comes to building an actual skyscraper, like you in construction, you can actually hire out contractors and have them all build the stuff for you. But as a business owner, you have to dig the foundation yourself. You can't outsource digging the foundation. You're the one who has to do it. So what I'm telling you guys is this. If you have a very big vision for your life and for your family, you have to make sure that you have a foundation that can support that vision. And if you don't, you will continue to struggle over and over and over again, and you probably won't know why you're struggling and why things keep breaking and why all these problems keep happening, right? It's because you haven't dug a deep foundation yet. Once you dig the foundation deep and it's sturdy, life can't knock you down. Little things can't knock you down because you are too strong for that. So anyway, guys, hope this has been helpful. Like, I would go back and watch this video again, watch this multiple times so you can really, really ingrain this in your mind and understand this is actually how it works. You can't just go shoot up to the top first. First, you have to dig your foundation first, right? Invest in yourself, learn skill sets, get good at the things that are important for your business. If you do that first, now you have what it takes to build a big business. But if you try to do it the backwards way, it's not going to work for you, man. And I'm just telling you, it's not going to work. Eventually, your business is going to fall